94.7 Asempa FM so ne Ekosiisen dwumadi no asogu so a otie ne ma ye na mo nyina se ne ensan ma wakwaba. We have some 7 minutes to the top of the hour 4. Said ye Erikan Ekan Sana ye kono. The minority leader is here, Dr. KCL Ato Forson. Ma menkai mo say ye interviews are ye wo Ekosiisen so no Ghana AIDS Commission and a safari tissues eboyen and ye de ebrel. Doc yen sha say we picked a press conference not live.
Thank you.
And it was mainly on the Bank of Ghana.
Correct.
I think my takeout there was a 21 days the governor and deputy should leave office.
And deputies.
And the two deputies they should leave office. On yet too much of a call to make.
No. What's the can be?
Yes.
Or there Ghana foot tasi. Since I recordem, and I will have to take my time.
Okay.
Let me the Ghana for what I see.
Okay.
Obi, be from some time in from 2000, 2001, 2022. Okay, no, 2020, 2021, and 2022.
Sure.
And what Ghana for akum. And a brand of one sika asho. In fact, I will even go back since governing Obabeya governor in 2017.
Yes.
First action or started the banks in the Biwa Woniska. One who no wakufo into Ogu banks.
Yeah.
O collapse banks in the Wieno. And Crawford one sika be breshaway. Been one sika or cherry and son of one saraka. Wool to answer what you and tot. Banks in the Biwa or you see regulatory action or the collapse one will be doing with my credit. Since our bankers are even more year about the Uber drivers as a result of governor of field there. You can't bank and warfare on your con papa into collapse banks. Nature so I wonder what the one sika to her. Be one sika or the one saka, 1 cent to manka. Ibinum one sika da wishim. Ibinum so one sika would to and tot out to the stand today. One sakano in a sikano will lose ne value. On a nature no. And 2020, Abani. Even before that, Governor Yankasanso Obeno, Osanso 200 cedi note and a 300 cedi note.
Yes.
200 cedi note and then 100 cedi
and
note.
100 cedi.
100 cedi
Yes.
note.
Yes.
Them sikano treno or your new currency, high powered money to Oma or your inflation. To Oma inflation no or cost or kakra. But not as the magnitude that you want to see. Then in the year 2020, Elkono, na governor no or turning the central bank into a printing press. Abenta makadem. As a ban no ya anye there. Anytime a ban you to be o hinsikan or fre governor and the governor me hinsika into peskamam ena a ban you to be. O man them pressure but then the governor walk of vote no way yisika epui. In economics, we call it printing. So he print money and or the sika the bar or lend it to the government. 2000 yebi 2021 or printe sikan kotin 35 billion Ghana cedis. The basika dada no more yahin 35 billion. It's about 3.5 trillion.
Trillion, yes.
3.5 trillion.
Yes.
Siku try magana kotin. And 2022 Osansu issue another 45 billion. Also 42 billion. They come about 7.2% of GDP. The two put together is about 77 billion Ghana cedis, in excess of about 13% of our GDP. Now, the key question is, the Misikana operating, what happened to the people of Ghana? What are the Ghana for yet seeing? After operating Sikana, because you create new consumption, yen international reserves in our order, or started or deplete. Because consumption is creating or the water as nyama water so as enough your brochure no ba into we be here foreign currency to use foreign currency no water you are depleting our net international reserves. That is the beginning of our crisis. Into depleting net international reserves our year reserves no negative. That is why 2020 you currency or depreciated from 6 Ghana cedis to almost 15 Ghana cedis. Until the IMF program will now say my confidence be by after the SLA.
That's December 2022.
December 2022. Okwaya to 15. Because you need reserves to intervene. Central bank governor action or deplete yen reserves. Yen reserves no deplete no. Governor no ne printing of the currency no printing no or create new consumption. Them new consumption no create no. Or ma will you see dollars and what do you them or what do you them as in or ma sika bay no them sika autumn city depreciate from 6 Ghana cedis to 15 Ghana cedis at some point. In fact, on a straight line, it's about 130% on a straight line calculation, but we don't calculate it that way. You negate it by 1. So on a straight line, for everybody to understand, we'll move 6 to about 15, about 130%. You've been see that for so many years. On the nature, you know, because currency, you know, or depreciate to that magnitude, or ma prices of goods and services and okoso, okoso no cover inflation or the bay. It's inflation now. You win now. Hyperinflation for the first time since 1992. Or your Fourth Republic, you hyperinflation them. We saw hyperinflation for the first time in 2022 at 54.1%. It is as a result of this printing of money. The same printing of money no offers currency depreciation by. Offers currency depreciation by no leading to inflation. World Bank Akade 850,000 Ghanaians. Last quarter of the year 2022, they moved to extreme poverty because of the inflation. In Hotel na wa benin na no fare bayin. Ne fare bayin. O send the governor no ntumi njina ne nando. Saban na kache na Kufuado na Dr. Bawumia na finance minister wakache no on print sike bi mbra de ka. No, na inda azo ya inda wada no print and press. I call him governor printer. In a governor printer or print sika de ma bani. The kind of sika wa printing being Sigana in history with that. And the printing you use here, the literal meaning of printing. Yeah, printing of money in economics means when the central bank releases sika, it's called printing of money. On the old cheska no, just can otra. Can win try or be the win otra. Otra. Say it can say do go vote him. Let's say releaser. You have not printed. You have not printed. Okay, fine. But say try say releaser. I print. Because I'm printing. I'm dish dem. I'm printing. Adamoboa. Into otra no we release am ban. Oche we increase government in the balance sheet. Them case so central bank will print sikanas whatever. It's in economics we call it high powered money. Or create overheating in the system. Them overheating now or creating or no leading to inflation. It's so basic and fundamental. So basic. Monetary economics culture there is something you don't do. Sebeye cry, you do it very little. On into the Ghana and Bremen. First, in a year, 10% of previous year's revenue. In the year 2016, under President Mahama, your core parliament, your core amended law, no, you're reducing from 10% of previous year's revenue because you're paying inflation in form. And as a result, you're reducing 5% of previous year's revenue. What he has done is about 30% of previous year's revenue. 30%. 30%. It been sida. It been sida. The Equana, no, it's not even 30% because the previous year, no, it was about they had 2022. The revenue was under 90 billion. In an uncle to print 45%, 45 billion in 1 year. Yeah. So it's about 50%. That's almost 50. 50% of previous year's revenue. I mean, it been sida. Nebi sana osimi save Ghana. Nebi sana ekwana ode Ghana fadron. Ujafo in that honchira your system no muinano. Let us blame President Akufo-Addo. Let us blame the chairman of the economic management team, Alhaji Bawumia. Because our Alhaji Bawumia you do Bank of Ghana pen. You call yourself Mr. Strategist. You are the same person who is telling us the economic wizard. In fact, blueprint MPP for implement is your strategy. MPP one economic blueprint or any strategy. And now after instead of the advice one, you are the chairman of the economic management team. Then Ashem Crowfree Putupa. I'm my finance minister, Wafra governing, my way Trisika Prudo onto them just to finance the government expenditure. How would you react to 1 hour back there? Since 2007, I first Eurobond. Government after government, I rely on Eurobond receipt to do a lot of things in our system. And once we were locked out of the capital market, government was left with no option. No, first of all, the 45, no, that is the mistake. You see, say in your financing difficulty, the first thing you do is to check your expenditure. But they went on overdrive. they went on overdrive. It be on the second so what printed on what they then. So central bank printed for you 77 billion in 2 years. Let them show us what they use the money for. Consumption. So some of these consumption expenditures, you could have cut them and
not
reduce
unnecessary consumption.
It's not necessary. It's not necessary. Because the wastage in the system, kabana butum wa cutting or crab, but abana one cutting. It's a problem that you woman see or self-inflicted. I'm in a major finance minister. I mean, financing difficulty. In fact, even deficit no crowd war run and it was too high. You don't need rocket science to tell you that would deficit are run no crowd or debt or because we're unsustainable. Oh no, make Ghana yen debt unsustainable because you were adding public debt at an exponential levels, increasing at a very increasing rate, fast Usain Bolt speed. In a debt, or accumulate that speed. So first of all, you should have reduced your fiscal deficit. How do you reduce your fiscal deficit? One, you can use revenue compliance measures or revenue measures to increase the revenue and cut expenditure, or both. I would say you increase expenditure, increase expenditure. Increase expenditure, and so instead of you going to look for financing, Ghana for it's a central bank non-print amount. But
in terms of reducing expenditure, we are present 2 budgets to our MPs in Parliament.
Correct.
In those budgets, one more clear strategy on how they are cutting down expenditure, including what appointees want salaries though by 30%, fuel coupons, and a host of other.
Okay, so first of all, budget is an estimate.
Absolutely.
So wabutum waka. But what is the
outends? No, okay.
Outend no bear no with Asempa no okay, it was a hoax.
Hoax.
Because outends ni natural expenditure was rather elevated. There is nowhere in the budget outends and fiscal numbers no but out no cheddar banwa cutting expenditure. So they will come to Parliament. And I have said, and I'm on record to have said that all these numbers they are churning out and I work on one seminar or a cosmetic. Until the market seminar, market so many times or a cosmetic. Because in some of our test no more budget no more. Fiscal table no more on reflect. So you could see that or a political statement. Aberdeen some academy. In the debt, you won't be Ghana's debt war. Yen debt are unsustainable. To the extent today, Sisiano, Ghana or money in a bankruptcy into Yanko. Ya Bakawama, Minyo Kasi, Euro bond holders. Countries are yet one cow all over the world. In a Euro bond holders. Banks are yet one cow all over the world. Minyo Kasi, ye defaulter, ya suspend interest and principal payments. That's where we are as a country. In a Bank of Ghana, no so what print is coming here, no. Abano so wakacho on the Sika printing mammy now, or your boss at the bomb, so on to me to account. My Bank of Ghana, so we gonna account. First of all, I buy no bobusa to the stand today. Or man Ghana, we became bankrupt. And Ubi and Pedoboy and Bosabu. In fact, many ampem in your bank, in your ampem or a bank be wa. Or ampem bosa one Bogana bosa because we feed ampem or you're more credit worthy than the bank. Aberdeen, because Ghana into Mintia. The moment Ghana decided that why then want to Mintia pay, no what 10 one who called Mr. Printer, Bank of Ghana Governor Addison, the printer. Who can pay? No, so don't worry, I'll start printing for you. To years the capital was a couple vote no the way Koyiska. I'm in charge. All what I would do is that because we've been locked out of the capital market, they are sending you a signal. The signal that baby a wobusaro kono into Mintua. Into first of all, check your lifestyle. Obi, say to we bank bia nado bia so mbo busa. Or chede ini sekabu to Mintua. What do you do? Iboko be fufra kwa jibusa fufra. You check your lifestyle. Or then who there, what car da nekitan. So first, no 5-liter car, reduce it, sell it. Not all. Say 1-liter car. No expenses. We see car when sabakan etumaso. But you don't continue digging. Now, but what dig am a bank no we.
But the men them in cutting down expenditure, no, they are not things as a year. Ebenya results no immediately. No. Memor example. Inti say yemfande this year at the budget statement reba parliament.
Correct.
Na aya wadwen there epede eto expenditure do.
Correct.
The next month you would have to pay salaries. If you decide to cut expenditure, how long would it take for that to reflect in revenue rather than ebia Eko Bobosi on the Eko Bank of Ghana for direct money?
I think it's immediate. And don't forget, I've been a deputy minister of finance before. I think it's immediate. Because it prepare a budget, a medium-term expenditure framework, and current year budget. So ministries now what the one budget about.
Whatever.
They bring their wish list. I call it wish list.
Okay.
You, as the Minister of Finance, you have to prepare what we call resource envelope. Resource envelope in your day. But when sika ibenya, and na dodo wa pede iboka ho. No, your total resources available to you.
Yes.
Sika erekobo bosan. Se feel the bosan ibo into bintu ya they reduce another imbokra. Then I will tell you, as a Minister of Roads today, even though ipede is a car kwan by 70 kilometers. Because me ni sikenti 10 kilometers. 10. I would them. Then you give them that resource envelope. Only envelope or the prepare one budget in line with. But how are you Minister of Finance? If you the governor who wants to overprint the account, that whatever baby has in the won't call. No one can yeah. This is what happens. In to be a culture there, it will take forever and San Aban is wrong. Even wages. Say me feel there where the country has gotten to. I have to borrow and pay wages. Next the country is going to collapse. Remember central bank where then we print more the inflation. Baba. As a Minister of Finance, you have a responsibility to meet with the TUC
on Asempa FM.
Like organized labor.
Organized labor. And organized labor, don't get them wrong. I've never seen a group of people as intelligent as them. They have high-level labor economists and all kind of economists. They will run the numbers with you. They know the implication. They say, one say a kobobusa was central bank inflation aba. Inflation aba. One is Canada Mahono will be eroded eventually. Because say imam 100 Ghana cedis bosom. That's the prices of goods and services or stable. 100 Ghana cedis no opportunity. But prices of goods and services or gallopa or started or rokosora 100 cedi no will end up to about, let's say, 30 Ghana cedis in real terms. So they know all of this. So clearly, our minister responsible for finance and the economic management team, led by the vice president Alhaji Bawumia, they failed to inform the stakeholders of this country the true meaning of where we are going. Including the governor, on the Nejumoya and the Wahinsikar Wapentamon.
Mama, another practical scenario. Our country and in fact the whole world was hit by COVID. Seba Ghana yen revenue sources, no one key revenue source yen port. The port was locked for close to 8 months. The airport the same, and these are areas yen ska massively edifi. Workers majority were not going to work. Most of them were at home, they were still paid. Say if them background no reba, where were revenue sources in now blocked in Yisika. Unfortunately, also, you've been locked out of the capital market. Baby, and keeping easy money. Edabesha economy. Say a finance minister, a Bank of Ghana governor in charge of monetary policy, finance minister in charge of fiscal policy. What can you do if you have a central bank set up to come to the rescue of the country? Why won't you rely on them?
Okay, so COVID year, Minister of Finance, will call bond market to borrow for the record.
Okay,
they went and borrowed about 3 billion Ghana cedis.
Okay. That's 2020.
2020.
Okay.
They borrowed 20 billion Ghana. Okay. Early, they went very early to borrow. Number two, say if you are confronted with a situation of revenue all down, there are things you can do. First of all, you have to find alternative sources of revenue. And I'll give you an example. Time I was shut down airporting.
Yes.
What happened? The same airporting in a one bano where you see a company called Frontier. I want to walk walk through the COVID test.
Yeah.
Them sikan instead of government taking action, next sikana by government when whatever private sector and ask yourself that this kind of money them company last time remember the could to a black or to say sika them offend the frontiers in Wunyai. Ghana Airport Company, another government of Ghana, National Ghana Health Service, where them activity now in Kesikai Benyan revenue will be alternative to this. To Sekai Yenya Airport. To have clearly be an alternative. But government lost that opportunity. On the nature, you have a choice. A choice to cut down certain expenditure lines. Yes, government when decided to obey the margin. Rather, no, because of the elections. And you can check across the country. There, in fact, across Africa, the countries are COVID or bench one Ghana, or so many other countries.
Yes.
As a result, we should be an expenditure lines, no one deficit we're running. Ghana is the only country will run a deficit double digit, 12.1% of GDP fiscal deficit.
Because
Ghana
we
is
did
the only
things
country
to save our people.
Because no, because we overspent. And if you drill down, next countries there's something different among all of us. Two things. One, Ghana is the only country where run a fiscal deficit of 12.something%. Again, Ghana is the only country where elections that year. It's the only country where elections on that day, that year. So clearly, it's election-related expenditure and not COVID-related expenditure. Ghana is the only country, and I have the table. I can share with you. It's a World Bank data. You can check from the World Bank website.
But if your elections,
Ivory Coast,
yes.
Because on that year, fiscal deficit our running is about 4.something%. We run fiscal deficit in double digit, 12.1%, or so I think 12.1 or 12.2%. That's the only country. 1 year. Even that said below the line items here, the fiscal deficit will be going to about 15% 1 year. It's part of the reason why we are.
COVID.
And then young problems say or precede COVID. 2019 you started your sound alarm warnings. You can check. Google and see. 2019, I warned that the government will take steps that we will default within 1 year. What happened? I warned because the numbers were clear. We were getting there. In moving Zamana, what hiding what that's your capital and why offering below the line, they were above the line. Let's say your debt sustainability. Clearly, Ghana was going down the drain. If we were going down, we're crashing. That's why we are where we are. And then you would women in COVID time in what Chesikade Kelewele. Mintum the MPs no anyway 4 of us, we are all members of parliament. COVID time. MPP government, they shared money. As if the world chair granite.
The one to small businesses now.
Look,
one vice chairman be
one off and send some okay. Parliamentary candidate. Was Sablugo was then. Sika what chair? No, ABF was sending no constituency. Sanerugo. Besian. On your 200,000 vice chairman in your business. What Chesikande Kelewele
constituency.
Into what Chesikande Kelewele and the West, they were expecting there. Ghana Bay what it is. Into where we are now. Obi, Governor Addison, Mr. Printer, Finance Minister, one program, one bond, and Mr. Strategist, our Vice President, and one. Na was say or man would be
now election related expenditure say for the fair because not meaning that historically yen elections are funded by yen donor partners. For the first time the government of Ghana bore the cost of our elections completely, and that surely will add to election expenditure.
I don't think it's the first time, isn't it? Because 2016 the government of Ghana bore the expenses completely. I don't know of any donor contribution. I don't know, maybe donor training but I'm not aware that yen elections for a long time donor be no chair elections in mind. But election expenditure again, as a finance minister who is prudent, you know that elections are for 4 years.
Yes.
So in 4 years time you start planning. You see, you save when during good days and you spend during bad times. So you save something, set up an escrow, be paying into it as an election-related expenditure. That is what you should do as a finance minister. I would say you run the country as if there's no problem, and then run it aground, send us to a bottomless pit to destroy our livelihood completely, as if now we don't have a country.
But the escrow account for elections, because you've been in the finance ministry before. Why do you think it should be done now?
You see, so Minister Tepe once again. Minister Tepe any time, when you made the election-related expenditure, he introduced the word escrow account in our body politics in the finance ministry. So he started saving for that election-related expenditure. Electoral Commission particular expenditure. That's what he did.
And there are records to show that.
Yeah. You can ask him. Call him. There are records. Call Mr. Minister Tepa to the extent today he knew that year election friend and fiscal deficit no obokosoro. Because obokosoro on account of one-off electoral commission expenditure, we always call it one-off, and so he started preparing towards it.
Even Eurobond, that name said they due in started setting money aside.
Even Eurobond, Ekaya Minister Tepa set it up escrow account. In fact, we call it sinking fund. Sinking fund. No odisikatum. That is why MPP Bay January. What Bay January no June loan fall due pepe no. They were able to pay without talking up to them because the money was there, sitting idle, waiting for it to be paid because of setting up sinking fund for that purpose. That's prudence. That is prudence. That is prudence.
I mean, I suspend this year. What arrangements are they putting in place?
Those monies will be paid.
Yes.
So, Odi, but leader, in your press conference again, a make mention of some expenditure
lines
as a Bank of Ghana weighing care.
Correct.
All these was contained in the report.
It's not my saying, no. It is in the annual report.
Yes.
Of the Bank of Ghana for the year 2022 that is published on the Bank of Ghana's website.
Yes.
And what's the motor vehicles and running of the motor vehicles cost on 131.6 million Ghana cedis. The basic that down 131 billion. No. 100 and something. I mean, humpo or pay. Yeah, no, also no, and 130. No, over 100.
No, but why do you say
it's about trillion?
Why do you say also dodo? About
okay.
Also.
Okay, so first you have to compare it. 1.6 trillion. My God. 1.3 billion. First of all, besides the previous year, Sikahina was spending.
Yes.
Previous year.
On the same
expenditure, they spent slightly under 50 million Ghana cedis. So what they spent in the year 2022 is 114% more than what they spent than the previous year. 131.6 million Ghana cedis. Professor Champon, 1.3 trillion Ghana cedis. Sika was spending motor vehicle.
Ghana cedis
131.6 million Ghana cedis.
So that should be 1.3 billion.
No, not 1.3 billion, trillion.
Multiply by 10,000.
Okay.
1.3 trillion. Now them say what's what to come fitafu.
Is that what you
vehicle maintenance and why no maintain if it have no maintain vehicle maintenance
only maintenance
on motor
vehicles
what's the oil, what's the tires
if it have contain sika wo come on
brake parts
now if it have contain sika wo come
honorable as we speak, and maybe because of Parliament what recess in Tino, have you gotten the opportunity to look at the numbers? What be aware composite figures?
No, but
you know the breakdown.
How are we going to get Auditor General one report? One can say one auditors. No, Deloitte.
The way you classification.
No, but so no, Moba. So as MPs, you have the power to request.
No, we have to because me sure the fita phone contain what 1.3 trillion. Fita for sika o dem fita for nkotin 1.3 trillion.
Enter me busa say no, why them until me say there in the absence of the breakdown, why would you say it also if you don't have the breakdown?
No, but you want to say the work of the sika o dem fita for. What's the brake parts? What ties? 1.3 trillion.
The American say no, hold on. The American say to be able to arrive at the conclusion say esono. You have to appreciate the breakdown.
Previous year was spent about 60 million. Now I did now call 131.6 million. 1.3 trillion Ghana sikada do no e fita fon kotin sika waje fi Bank of Ghana. Da ma me me pede me pisa fita nyu kron na wode dem sika man. Obo we sika papa.
Other expenditure line.
On the next what's the sika would tukan?
Traveling expenses.
2022 97.4 million Ghana cedis. Ghana sika dada no mu ahe 970 billion. 970 billion Ghana cedis.
974 billion.
So this represents 246% increase over the previous year.
The previous year, not figure.
So 246% increase. So it means approximately it's about 40 million or less than about 30 million. It's about 30 million. 97.4 million Ghana cedis.
That's traveling expenses.
974 billion old Ghana cedis. Travel expenses. When I'm real, or cut on one or man paying out to can. Now, but if ministers will to can. In the better ones who want to can one spend them ski. Obi, as if that is not enough. Directors remuneration. Osei was spending 8.6 million on directors remuneration.
That members of the board.
Members of the board. The members of the board. Where are in? Where are in 12? Impact 12. 8.6 million Ghana cedis.
1 year.
In 1 year. This represents 87% increase over the previous year. So what it means is that we increase one salaries, another one allowances by 87% in 1 year over the previous year.
Teacher for salaries, how cost by
directors Impact 12. One could sing for 8.6 million. At the time that the country is in a major distress, economic crisis. I fear Maboka say directors 12 munko for 8.6 million. Champion check nipa krubia sika ofay.
86 billion.
Some making profit crown a mutia mo.
86 divided by impact 12.
No, but that's simplistic, honorable.
No, but that is what it is. That is what it is. But that is the only way you can make it.
I fear more boka. Bank na boka.
Impact krubia divided by 12.
Particular year.
So on average, impact krubia do
double more remuneration. It doesn't make sense.
On average, impact krubia
7.1 million.
7.1 million. Afebako.
Total near 8.6
it should be
700.
No. It's 700. It's about Ghana Canada 7 point something.
Sure.
700,000. Impact would say.
Yeah, it should be 700,000.
A day. What you got? I'm saying. I mean, how? At the time that the economy is in a major distress, banking supervision, because was spending 357.9 million Ghana cedis.
What is wrong with that? Because you asked
banks
them they should supervise the banks well.
Well, only 357 million. Okay, you find the way you wait, you the phone and chawon. You second one. Osei was spending 67.9 million on computer expenses.
What does that mean? On your dad?
Computers in servicing of computers. Almost a hardware computer. Computer expenses. Computer that I computer money be 67.9 million Ghana cedis. Sika this computer said now work off a fit or service
computer expenses.
Computer
I don't tell the computer I say.
And the computer no expenses computer no expenses
computers for cry.
And don't make us a computer expense bit my computers for and
no for cry. Edi bakana sika da no mo yain 67.9.
No, that's 670
billion. 679 billion.
Wow. Computers, I'm saying. Or your computer shopper. Central Bank or computer shop.
What we know? Import two computers.
What we know? What's the computers and so? Friend and communications. So why a press conference? And when Obi, me sure that can be. What's one more? 32 million. 320 billion. Solid the work from a meeting. Communication expenses. 32 million Ghana cedis. Another 320 billion.
No, but communication expenses and yet will not just be press conferences.
But then, MPC meeting press conference. Next time, we're from
website.
Yes, and no internet into me
internet and communication expenses, internet and or internet and all 32 million, 320 billion. Communication expenses. What's our friends and trouble? Next time, next time, we're press conference because Sika will try to win.
No, but I'm honorable. I need to ask this question for the Bank of Ghana. every year, who approves their budget?
I will come there. I'm coming there. But my man can you we are about one budget. No.
Okay.
And what's it? Undisclosed expenses, undisclosed in the document, undisclosed expenses, 287.8 million Ghana cedis. So this represents about 287 billion Ghana cedis. Undisclosed expenses. No, it's not
Trillion.
billion. It's trillion. 2.8 trillion. Undisclosed. Oh no. Bank of Ghana. Why one national security? One come undisclosed. On expenditure, what spender miscellaneous? I one come 287.8 million. Equivalent old Ghana cedis 2.8 trillion. Undisclosed. I'm not the one saying this. Deloitte on their website. That is the document from the Bank of Ghana. They themselves.
But does the Parliament of Ghana approve these figures?
You see, Obi, Bank of Ghana one for one budget in the Parliament of Ghana and more approve it that.
Since time
immemorial. And I think it must change. We guarantee central bank functional autonomy. Functional autonomy, no. One core functions of constitution on price stability and development.
Yes.
Price stability.
Yes.
We recognize that one they should have autonomy. We recognize that. We recognize that activities of the Monetary Policy Committee, MPC, should never be subjected to any form of external influence. We recognize that. But the use of public fund must be subject to parliamentary scrutiny. Because the parliament here scrutinize the Mazia and Kayedi Puyacha and Kawanyed the Mazawari. As if that is not enough. Do you know that as we speak, Bank of Ghana will see head office for FOFRA?
I was started about time.
I feel like the January was December. It's time my economic crisis no taming in our starting.
We'll break it ground.
We'll break it ground. We're starting. $250 million.
No, I've seen that construction now.
$250 million US. Equivalent 3 billion Ghana cedis. The Ghana Canada Numa 3 billion 3 billion
30 trillion.
30 trillion. Officer Sebe Bank of Ghana in the midst of economic crisis. What do you see? This is insensitive, huh? And let me tell you, I'm very angry. I'm very, very angry. As a Ghanaian.
With head office
see,
now,
I'm not only the head office, I'm very angry looking at Ekwana Bank of Ghana insensitive. At the time a country look through mess, must spend the sika anyhow. With the sika basa. What the Yanzama a conference your friend a journalist at 32 million. A computer expenses fit a phone saying 131 million. There sika basa watches wakoto watches $2 million US watches to give to who? Masa, let's get serious as a country.
Watches need to know
documenting watches or documenting.
But this is not the first time a Bank of Ghana has been embroiled in that controversy about watches.
We see
that there were two one directors.
I watch. I hear what the Wabama Kofa Kwasam was you. What is going on? What is going on?
Timing is very important.
What is going on? In the Kwana Bank of Ghana or Koda, handed Ayaka there. Governor Addison and the deputies, they have to go.
2 deputies and the governor, no?
Yes, they have to go.
Among resign free,
they should go. They should go. So the NDC minority in parliament, we are demanding that the governor and his deputies must resign. We demand this.
With immediate effect?
With immediate effect. We've given them 21 days ultimatum to resign, because we recognize that government must spend some time to scout for a governor. So 21 days is reasonable. Aside that, we recognize the governor will not prepare a handing over note. Not then Zama to new governor Babafa. So 21 days is fine. And we are starting from today. I think Oboson on the 3rd or 4th of September. By that time, we expect that he should leave. So when leaver NDC MPC Nara will call on you Obi to join us to help save our country and to secure our country.
But would he resign? Because
he has to go.
Bank of Ghana has an interesting structure.
Yes.
The directors are here board, no? The board is chaired by the governor.
Exactly.
And the Ekade were 12, and the 2 deputies are part of those directors.
Exactly.
In the Ekade, governor, our chair of the board, on resign.
No, BBS Sunankasa.
No, 2 deputies are why members of that board. Now, other board members are working.
No, I don't win now. So, yeah, John wants to walk. But in the meantime, first and first, Governor Nonko.
None the deputies also
won't go. On Uncle Tia Bama boarding by diluting. Into a work components of them careful no than at least new leadership, new deputies can guide.
But rather than calling for their resignation, no, why don't you rather initiate a process of proper reforms of the Bank of Ghana structure?
How can we do it from opposition? How can you do it?
But you are parliamentarian.
No, but how are you going to do it? You see, this is a government or in Ethiopia. It's at the papi biara ba na wa buegu. Nkofin so watching hen by one. Into say yakone yakwakoto aba. What the one do no ya no we be to. Even though you be resolve there, will fight against it. But this government will insist they will use their numbers and torpedo you. So the best thing is that we will use popular action against the governor. We have asked him to leave in 21 days. It is for his own good. He should leave. Let us get a new governor. So one within 21 days we'll go and pick it. And
they leaving no would stop expenses.
See, first of all, we heard the governor response. Us and there, we should blame the domestic debt exchange.
Yes.
Because government of Ghana negative equity. First, Bank of Ghana will make losses of 60.8 billion.
Yes.
Sika we're writing off is 48 billion. Okay, so even before they wrote off that 48 billion, say to 48 and 60 billion, or without the write-off on 12 billion as a result of this kind of expenditure, 12 billion. So it can't be true that it's only the domestic debt restructuring. It can't be true. Again, domestic debt restructuring now, without recourse to Parliament is illegal, and we will not accept it. We will not accept that, and we repeat: the NDC minority will not accept for the governor to unilaterally write off government of Ghana's debt amounting to 48.4 billion without recourse to Parliament. He doesn't respect us. It's impunity. It's impunity, and it must stop, because the PFM Act is clear. State agents or covered entity, if you are writing off any debt, you should come to Parliament. It's clear. So he has flouted that. Aside that, as we speak, the Bank of Ghana, our negative equity of 51 billion, 55.1 billion. 55 in the domestic debt exchange now we're writing off 444 in film. Even before the domestic debt exchange, negative equity no ansana, all because of the activities of the central bank. So clearly, government and the governance, they have failed big time. The mess we have seen is unprecedented in the history of this country. It's Gangantuan. We are in a terrible mess. So governor no one call. Let's printing now and stop her. But Obi, before I send my colleagues, you are baby. The central bank, as we speak, has negative equity of 55.1 billion. They've not stopped digging. They are building head office $250 million US, about 30 trillion Ghana cedis. Are worries in CCR. Do you know something? A company or negative equity, another state institution, a central bank or negative equity. It means in this case, why did you see them? You are going to continue printing. Into printing, what could the world print and the world dig hole to build a head office, and it's moving at a supersonic speed.
Or a head office building.
Yes. So you see, it's the insensitivity attached to their mismanagement that shocks me.
What if they tell you the building of that head office began way before this crisis on Nebekaden? Was a long time. I
don't think it began before the crisis. You see, even if it begins before the crisis and you are not in a position to pay,
you can halt it.
You can halt it and come back later. If, for instance, you spend 10 million or even 20 million, now one can say negative equity, my company first thing you should do is the bank central bank or negative equity. That is why in the IMF document, the Memorandum of Economic and Financial Policy, MEFP, paragraph 18, I entreat you to check. You can print the MEFP from the IMF website for Ghana. Osei clearly that the IMF will work with the government of Ghana to start the process and to plan how to recapitalize the central bank. So the Bank of Ghana will be recapitalized. And that is, there's only one way I will be able to recapitalizing. the burden or the incident will be on the ordinary people. They are going to introduce a tax, Bank of Ghana recapitalization levy. But before Ghanaians pay,
has a bill been presented?
Oh, no, it will come. It will come. It's clear. I mean, if the thing is negative equity, it's in the IMF document. It's a parliament. It's a PC performance criteria that you have to do it. You have to show us how you recapitalize the central bank, because bank they go. In fact, Bank of Ghana is bankrupt.
Guno might not be
bankrupt.
Because you are minority leader.
No, but anything
you say affects the market.
So if something is bankrupt,
Guno might not be good for
no fancy then bankruptcy, no fancy then.
Oh, say be omako ahochire mu kakra.
Bankruptcy never. If you have a negative equity of 51.1 billion, you will have a Bank of Ghana. Banks be in your negative equity or collapse on. Are you aware? The Bank of Ghana, one statement was said the banks are insolvent and bankrupt. So I'm using the same words signed by Governor Addison. The UT Bank is bankrupt and insolvent because they have negative equity. You remember? The same Governor Addison issued a statement and listed a number of banks, Sovereign Bank, a number of them, including BoG Capital and
Capital Bank,
and Ekri do for the bank. He offended Unibank. When also there, they are insolvent because they have negative equity and they are bankrupt into a collapsing. Now we have a situation. The central bank is in a very worse position. All the banks in the country, one loss is another one negative equity where you kabuma on 55.1 billion at the time of collapse banks. So how do you want us to describe it?
In 21 days, wankwa wakase mobe pekete ewo Bank of Ghana premises. If that doesn't yield any results, our then.
Well, so first we've shown you that we've said that 21 days. Second, we'll match.
Yeah.
Let him defile us, and our all options are on the table. We'll take it from there.
Okay, meaning say I was say uja yeho echo.
My colleagues in Kasansan.
No. Okay, very well.
Yes, sir. Yanisa Governor Addison. Na Addison. Na no question say we show say ontimi can know entre finance minister ne head of the economic management team no bia. Ni awo bebi sane so onye bia obeye papo bonio obeye enunti na afibia waka some print sika or print me kaibra ye leader then ranking member on finance.
Yes,
one of the debates were parliament na o breaking news say aban apprentice ka sometime no kra no say 20 billion not knowing me say that day MPP for deny here on the floor and just no quarry ni adina eba ekra na chese one printing in excess of the 20 billion no one printing in that particular year no 35 billion, the following year another 45 billion. Anka Bank of Ghana ewo mra ebo ne ho bank ebo governor no ho bank say yentimi new basabasa te say na ubeti president beti aka kire minister say and them ayi wedi o kira ma ayi wedi eyi nti na yes amra no to protect the governor. Na wunya minister bi ne aban bi a ono de o man ne sikasam mfa ne ho no no ane so se print ska no nya and wetim ye gina wo nan so aka so eyi de me ya e be say o man sikasam ntimi nya ne say. Governor here show clearly say he cannot resist the temptation from aban nti se ya ka so on santina ho no nya reforms ne ade a enkosi ba bia nti ne hia ne say obetwe ne ho na wo say otimi efi ho a governor foforo bi obeba no obeseti abehu say se metie nkrofo yi na manye ne amra eda ho a me nso ochena wo beyi madi se sa fie ne ni ho de a now what are we doing nti ehia pa say Governor Addison obetie na sopam na nka 21 days ya me na me dream say 21 days na doors ododo ya ka leaders o ya man 21 days na on fa
in fact one don't hear man cause chana pakran 21 days is good enough
say ne be ma deputy bia act kakra kosi say wo be ya say yetu anamon if he said near ma ekoso yi say ka say be tena say sa ade a oba no begu egu yanso
for more on the finance committee, for example, and as a parliament as a body, yenim say mutimi tonsa efre appointees be mobile for you to ask them questions. In the case of the Bank of Ghana, no, can you invite the governor?
Yes, we can invite the governor, but on to member Abra Parliament. You was sitting at Mason is because on your Minister of State.
Okay.
In Tichide, you relax the rules. Plenary
on to me, my
committee. Another parliamentary committee of the whole, near your friend, them and you see to my friend, more but no biano. The time has come. Calling him for me is not enough.
The man.
Because governor no will act with impunity over the years. One, Section 30 of the Bank of Ghana Amendment Act, 612, and Section 60 of the 918.
Yes.
We're breaching. The consequence was Section 67. We're breaching law. We're breaching law.
By doing what?
By printing.
Printing, okay.
Because ni repercussion or ho. No repercussion you and what trabagani padino wakofaba because when to say no. On the nature no. Finance committee members what friend no
say for a long time not on appear.
My Bank of Ghana government.
Yes.
Meaning say more extend this invitation.
Say about 2 weeks ago no ba near who no more than 6 months. Just say the reports are bad. According to chairman, what we invite here, in one reason or the other, I won't remember. Not knowing so when near Ekosiisen. Now, me say Obi, even the presidency, one budget, yet also may approve. Why do we have a system governor no on one or chair board? Now on one or approval ne salary ni bribia. Sir, and tessa anka how say afia woboka would me almost double one remuneration. It's because a third eye be anywhere. Otimi Eshe, make jetum say one monetary policies near my day. Yenyama, I know the Asuanya autonomy. Now, so eba one administrative expenses near
the use of public funds.
Say anka afia oboka or the bar parliament say or best spend $250 million SC officer and he be approve manana. Ubia approve near oye. Into your horn and your pen oye. Oh, it is sir. No,
but my leader, this position on use of public funds, I was say a band under the radar of Parliament, no, a principle mu hold this is a more position one.
No,
can you commit say when you come to power, mubetimi assistance hadium.
You see, them governing watch there, the central bank. Like any other institution, because you see, Ghana as a country, we respected the central bank, so prestigious to us, and because you don't just appoint a governor, you appoint someone who would stay true, to the Bank of Ghana Act. But this one has shown us they all stay true to the. So now, Parliament must change its position. The new standing orders are waba out. The new special budget committee will have to take it upon themselves, just like electoral commission and a constitutional body in our Wabano. Bank of Ghana, also a constitutional body created by the constitution, must also come to Parliament. Now, one for one budget in Bra for approval. So, one call finance committee, one call the special budget committee of Parliament. Now, yen two men draw down, yen who a kwana one sikano because the young Nancy it calls for a rating, and them know what build the country. You see, it build the country or continuous improvement.
Yes.
Asempa baby, na say when them brano obi ote or abuse na. Or they go back and look at Mbran. We are abusing Mbran to the extent that we cannot continue to give the central bank the total autonomy with the use of public fund. Because you see, after what the Bank of Ghana called bankruptcy, Miss Wegu Asempa the meka the word Wegu. Da me peda meka in there. Baby a central bank agree. We need to rely on the taxpayer to recapitalize the bank. The burden is on you and I. You'll be paying a tax after the same central bank will levy inflation tax of 54% on you. Etriama asunsu CCI wasanso ne capital ne in mismanagement. Yetria mismanagement fee of 8.6 to the board members. We paid 8.6 million Ghana cedis mismanagement fee. Yadamahon. Then mismanagement one negative equity about for this negative equity of 51 million. We have to 55 billion. We have to take steps as a country to repay this in a form of taxation. Because government talk about busa cry but you see we are locking out him from the bill today ye kra toto na be ye mfienum infiesia another infidu Ghana ye tues the mutro na copy time central bank obejina nanando baby Addison Mr. Printer or the Ghana could do.
The Mami Busa our question and they say if you want to stretch the argument, some will say before 2016 we had a crisis of a sort as a country. Around that same period, the Bank of Ghana built a hospital, the bank hospital.
Because they made profit.
No, because we made. I was a member of the board at the time. We made a profit of 700 million. In fact, we paid dividend apart from after we built the hospital. Was also to a dividend to the government of the Republic,
the central government.
to the government of the Republic of Ghana. They pay dividend. So this one is not dividend to negative equity.
So who making profit?
Before you see, since I make a profit, na so since I na into new office. I have no issue, and don't get me wrong. I'm not saying central bank should not build a head office, but I'm saying you should build the head office at the right time.
Okay,
you should build a head office at the right time, and not times like this.
At all.
Times like this, as sebe nimpa no ho yen na na kro no resen e wo dem sike ya enfon support Ghana, enfon support Kroya. Sisi enkofu nyedi banindi. So the question is, where's their priority? Where is their priority as the Central Bank of the Republic of Ghana? Bank of Ghana. That's where we have a problem. So Obi, before I made a sebo query,
okay.
Parliament of Ghana, you spend this year,
130 years.
30 years anniversary of multi-party democracy. And I have said, and I'm on record to have said that since independence, Yenya constitution and 4 constitutions. In between what Topo constitution and democracy, military rule and all. Ghana became ups and downs for the country. This democracy is the most enduring democracy. 30 years. Because it is the one that has given us the opportunity to sit here and also to Jojo. It is the one that will give opportunity to you and your children to also contribute your quota towards the nation building. Multi-party democracy, all my political parties diverse. I drain Obia Bachelor. That doesn't make us enemies. That means not Bank of Ghana why Bonia. But all committee do not so ye Juma. That's why Papa Mobile Sebaman or Bono de Butumaka. And Asema Mekemobua. And the need for us to work together to build our country. That is what America is doing. That is what UK is doing. That's what most countries are doing. And we all know that for the country to progress, it's only multi-party democracy. So you started your friend and 30 years, right honorable Speaker Bagbin, or the MPC now your tour across the country.
Okay.
Not long ago, Oko northern part of the country. No. Yeah, Opfre football, MPP, NDC, here now your boy. Boy, in fact, Mentuman Kobi, one of our bottom check on social media and parliament, Facebook, Wobo, we win our tenacity, we
both sides,
NDC, MPP, your call, Yempen, Bikran, Fiena, but that does not mean that we are not doing our work.
Okay.
But to bring cohesion, as we speak, here to southern sector.
Okay.
Southern sector, no, you was Cape Coast in a Takradi. And I'm in your case, you were Takradi. Your Takradi and me here the press conference. My colleague and deputy Honorable Kofi Amaboa is there leading the minority and working with the speaker. MPP side also one representative for Mimdo and Honorable Kobi.
Otreda, Western Regional Minister.
Or that's your Western Regional Minister. So they are moving together. Work on an ankatia and Oyel ended that and in the answer. We were in Cape Coast.
Okay.
Cape Coast. In Cape Coast, I was your call Cape Coast in your Kwesra Nana Kwesiata. Nepalese. You are here in a quarter hotel crew, you are Koyeduma. So in between, you know, Mokotu Minia, Kwame na Fenyo Market.
Okay.
So Numuna Yetinahon.
Now also Cape Coast.
Also Cape Coast. Yena Yetina say Yako Kusi so on Poye late into a bed no hotel. Then we went there during the time here in Yetiwana. Obi trap picture. And now Obi so or record the Abra time or Kasa. I even posted it and said that we are celebrating our 30th anniversary more of multi-party democracy. And that doesn't mean there's something.
Okay.
But when there people are commenting on it as if he invited me out for records. Kwame na Afenyo Marken was not the one who invited me, and I don't invite him.
So,
Now,
okay.
baby,
So,
and I don't treat him. In fact, even my birthday was the day before.
Okay.
No,
but it's good you brought this.
So it's important I clear the air. No. So me pede mema NDC supporters what I said.
Okay.
I remain loyal, and I will do whatever it takes to hold the governments accountable for adibia wobeyebia that is against the country. In fact, I'll hold their feet
to the
fire of accountability. And anyone who knows me knows that I can smile with you, and my colleagues are here. They know who I am. But there's a line, Chinese wall, between me and my work. And then the kind of person I am. And I stay true to that. That is how I'm defined. That is me. I can't change, because that is how I'm made of. That is my training. That you can be so nice to you, but doesn't stop me from doing my job, and I'll do the job judiciously.
But would you agree to 1 hour back there? So for that typical foot soldier, be it for MPP, for NDC, who picture be the man, for the optics they will go like,
what is this?
Minority leader na deputy majority leader who did the war so when people are going through for the optics, no.
Okay, so
I agree. When I work at it, maybe it was not.
I may agree. Okay. Let me say that first of all, it is not like a minority leader and a minister.
Okay, it's
a minority leader and a colleague leader in parliament. Yeah. So you may have to immediately think that it may be a leadership meeting.
Okay.
Okay. So for instance, the activity now, 30th anniversary, is happening in Central Region.
Okay.
And I am the minority leader
who is also
from the region and an MP from that region.
Yeah.
Okay. He's also a deputy majority leader from the region.
Yeah.
Okay, and he can't absent himself, even though he was late in attending the main function.
Sure.
He has to show face.
Sure.
Why late? And we were all in the same place, preparing to go to Takrade, but I have to come back. In fact, as I speak with you, I have to go back to Cape Coast because the speaker is coming to Cape Coast tomorrow morning
from Takrade.
Okay. And we are going to hold mock parliament at the University of Cape Coast. And they just called me that they want me to be the guest of honor.
Oh, okay.
There. So I even have to go and prepare and all of that. And in that meeting, I won't be there alone.
Yeah.
I'll be there with 12 additional NDC MPs. And 10 MPP MPs. All of us will be together.
Yeah.
Seeing us is to show that multi-party democracy is the only way out. Because Sebe Kuzi Yempo Yempe and Ghana free now they there. Military rule is not an option. Where we are now, democracy no obokodo. Yes, we have difficulties in this democracy, like what we are seeing with the Bank of Ghana. We need to enact laws and use tools around democracy to get him out. Yes, there's a call for us to relook at the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana, because one president in too much power, we have made him an elected dictator. But that does not mean we should do coup d'etat. We will have to sit together as one people to amend the Constitution. We need MPP, NDC to strengthen the Constitution and stand the test of time. But I strongly believe that coup d'etat is not an option, and multi-party democracy is the only way to make this country a success. And you agree with me that 30 years of democracy, country may move in spite of our difficulties. We have achieved some successes. It's only Nanado and I was setting back 30 years ago. But the kind of progress I make as a country, is commendable. Let's protect this democracy.
So because Nanado was setting back 30 years ago, I mean, for the past 6-7 years, is there anything positive about this administration?
You see, the kind of, you see, Uja from Kasem Chum, Abana President Mills, JJ Rawlings, we saw what he do. In fact, people are saying that President JJ Rawlings came in as a military ruler, but he left as a true Democrat. True Democrat. He came in, built a country, and handed over to J. Kufuor. J. Kufuor contributed his quota and handed over to J. Mills. Mills built the country, built on the back of J. Kufuor, built it and handed over to President Mahama. President Mahama took it to another level, built a solid country and handed over to President Nana Akufo-Addo. What are we saying? We've gone back. Abufraba enanka yedu a friend in university anka yebo we university ba ya hwe ya mamen since on ya back to KG1
enya one positive thing
I'm bom de mu I mean the free we good on okra we good in fact nan say mo wana wo man free SHS for it's banning
yeah what supply food
won tua honka nti amena menu anumi bi kra yakwa kwasra ho bi wo picketing wonye dibani mponzi yakototo dibani kakra mo ne won kasa ya po honchao ansa na ba no kotua ka so many ano. So to the average NDC supporter out there, me meeting Kwamena, never offer me koshe baby. No, invite him. We were in a parliamentary function. Okay. And parliamentary function, all of us eat. And equal parliament in there. Your committee meetings.
One lobby.
Yeah, lobby. Why I'm here now? Translate it. But me better than MPP to win him. Yeah. Jokes and aze. Saba parliament, you say it or no Martin. Say your committee. I'm not nahi. We eat together, Jaja. You know, when you're translate. But it doesn't stop the work.
In fact, Anka won't initiate crown. I won't minister baby. Anka, no problem.
No problem.
I will say some jokes can be expensive.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yes.
Honorable Markin. I grow now. After Ato made the Naba when he knew very well saying and
you saw my body language. You saw my body language. Body language that was funny. So I'm not interested. But as I've lived in Parliament for 15 years, so you don't expect me the MPP near the Mecca. But that doesn't stop my work
from doing your work.
It doesn't stop me from doing my work. Because the humanity, I have to do it, and I'll continue doing it, and nothing will stop me. My pledge is to lead the NDC minority to a proper victory. I will move from minority to my majority.
One resolve to solidarize with one colleagues. One same workout, including your honorable self. No, we good.
Yeah, good. And again, thank you for reminding me. If there's anybody on the MPP for baby business, it shouldn't be me, because you know what they are doing to me over nothing. I don't really want to go into the substance of the matter because the matter is in court. But if there's anybody, it should be me. I will not be the one to be sitting and be happy with MPP or be cutting deals with them because you know how they are treating me. Aside that, you've seen my work since 2017. If there's anybody who has taken them to the cleaners and has said what they are doing is wrong in plain language without embellishing it and saying it true, you are here. You know, you can't talk about two people without mentioning my name. And I've done my job truly, and I'll continue to do my job truly. Nothing will stop me. But hey, I'm serving my country. It's Ghana that I'm serving. I swore to protect and defend the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana as a member of Parliament, and that is what I will.
Now, Bank of Ghana website, reconstitution of the board. Also, the government has communicated the reconstitution of the membership of Bank of Ghana Board of Directors as follows. Onye ndeu, our one website that Dr. Ernest Addison, Dr. Maxwell Opoku Afari, on or a deputy, first deputy. Okay, Mrs. Elsie Ado Awaji,
second deputy.
Okay.
They came to replace us.
Dr. Samuel Ninoy Ashon.
Ninoy, former Minister of State.
Okay. Mr. Joseph B. Al-Hassan.
Okay, I don't know him.
Dr. Kwame Owusu Nyantechi.
Okay, Dr. Nyantechi, I know him.
Mr. Andrew Adinote Boy Do.
Non-active members.
Yeah. Mr. Andrew Adinote Boydo.
Nyantechi no, I don't know a pool man.
No. Dr.
Nyantechi.
Who's a pool day?
Pullman company, a hotel, or said there.
President Akufo-Addo in-law. In the bench. On an
Dr. Kwame Owusu Nyantechi.
Still our Bank of Ghana board.
And Mr. Andrew Adinote Boydo. Mrs. Comfort F. Okran. Mr. Jude Kofi Bakno. Miss Angela Trematin Jimo, Dr. Regina Ohene Dakun Educhum, Professor Eric Osei SCB,
But no wonder Professor Sibe is now quiet because Dr. Sibe. Time when we were in
Minister
government.
of Finance sits on the board.
So
yeah, but
to check well.
That be 12. Nipa 12. Anyway, John.
In fact, finance committee in what can say but they are taking steps to replace him with Amin Anta.
And then maybe his name would have to be updated.
Yeah.
List the
recent appearance.
Number 12, your Professor Eric was a SCB. That's what's here.
So this is the board members that were replacing Professor Sibe. You remember time between 2013 to 2016. He was the lead one person always okasa about economic issue. Since you are okay board no, when was the last time? Go back.
But leader, also
part of the 8.6 million.
so we're repeating it twice. Sir, Bank of Ghana, why not approve of more budget?
Yes.
When a critical issue, we need to look at it because the governor a chair of the board,
sure.
Or no determine allowances. We be to we be the only determine BBR. Nothing comes to Parliament for approval. Eti nipa na ohwe sika no so no and they take a decision amano. So we need to look at the law.
The reform thing now
yes,
but Obi before my hand over my Onobeke
join the panel.
There are best practices across the world. I think time has come for us to relook your governance architecture of the central bank, Bank of Ghana.
Sure.
Bank of England, still the Treasury, our Ministry of Finance were UK, or was some handle on the Bank of Ghana,
the central bank.
The use of public fund is only monetary policy, no functional autonomy. Yeah. I think Ghana must move that line. There are so many other countries, one budget, one actions, or are subject to the supervision of the central bank. Even the board structure, let us look around other countries, best practices. Na governor no on report to somebody because the way it is, it's not now. Can we change it? Because this governor has taught us a lesson that let's be careful. Giving so much powers to one person without proper checks and balances.
Very well. Thank you. Mame Namuase, leader of the minority in Ghana's parliament, Dr. Ato Forson, NDC member of parliament for in your constituency,
it's a prestigious constituency. And I love my people.
Wow. In the central region. Sounds is Jaman member of parliament. But I also constituency boko there.
Oh, Nyamiadom.
Me busa same way me no.
Oh, boko. I'm saying, person of Kabibi. What is MP before describe a guhola one permanent. But when you meet here, chila make one. One for team mubo man and ni team pie kasia or beba. Yeah, the train.
Na Jaja don't keep Bibi among.
Jaja. Sorry. Now, I was so north, right?
Yes.
I was not want me moving here.
Okay.
But say Bibi Aboko.
Nyamiadom Bibi Aboko.
Where we need primaries, right?
Nyanko Pada remember winning me primaries. Me try MP before Moso Sena. Oka so jama Edieno. Almost omu yegiri do hokakra. Ya chomo.
Second term in parliament near currently.
I am currently in my second term. I may prepare Nyanko Boa for my third term.
For your third term.
Yeah.
Now Ohono a stronghold. Emma. Like NDC stronghold.
NDC stronghold, Papa.
Send the other side at us one.
Nyanko Pada.
We sure.
By his grace.
But NPP for us we see it no matter target you.
It's a 2020 crown what target here. 2016 no crown what target here. Yes.
But yeah, gap need to say.
Oh, 2016 no. Yeah, me mom almost 8,000, but 2020 no, me mom almost 13,000.
Hey, and you're tough.
Nyankopon.
Honorable Jaja.
Thank you.
No, way too much.
Challenge. Now go the Korea, and I mean, yo, Monzo, Mui press conference, but some Bank of Ghana, and I mean, couldn't Nasuki Chiwurin. I mean, but Bankudini, Kudi Baya Aisari, Bank Kanana, Swing, Abina Vidacheba, Uncle Leduka, Uncle Last Banks. When the Kedubon Bank and Bank of Ghana, Shimo and Zuyachukudi, idly, a cool Bank of Ghana in the country. I think it's a been a kitchen and Mongode.
But Judge Membisa, a kind Bank of Ghana, why bankrupt, and now was our Canadian, Naman Canchron.
I know the Bank of Ghana, put it on.
Wait, I want to say, Ekosiisen, after this short break, the discussion segment, so Honorable Andy Apia Kubi will be joining us at our studio. Antimunchen, Yeba, Sisia, Ekosiisen. Saying Jumedian was Suguswa, Utienoma, Yanase, na Yemamunina, Aquaba, Bio, and Famum Regimedia, the discussion segment, no, and Ebetwamo. So, but before that, now read a few of your messages now, Faye, in Sem Kakrame, one of media, two menim, na Yashasie, Edi, and Como. We say, Obi, last Sunday was a historic day for the NDC in Kade constituency as we held a successful stakeholders engagement. Kindly permit me to use your medium to thank Honorable Joseph Yamin, National Organizer, Honorable Mustafa Gbande, Deputy National Secretary, Dr. Mark Oliver Kevo, Eastern Regional Chairman, Honorable Henry Boachi Yadom Okoyo, MP, Akwetia constituency, Chairman Bibi Moro, and other regional constituency and branch secretaries for their presence. God bless us all. With Chairman Godfred Bonsu, on your constituency chairman, ma NDC, Kade constituency. This one says, please wish Fiona Nana Dankwa of Dumfries, Virginia, a 5th happy birthday from your dad Kwame Dankwa Oba, your mom, Auntie Equia, Grandma Rose, Grandpa Jimmy Wusu Kwaten, all of Virginia, and Edway. But hello, Obi, good afternoon. And I do not think there should be a fast to see members of the leadership from both sides having fun. Ghanaians should embrace this and be happy, as I believe this should rather demonstrate a democratic and peaceful country rather than what might be preached by some citizens. It should only tell us that we need to be united even when we disagree over issues. Honorable Ato Forson should not worry his head over this. Even though we can be looking at the optics, we should also look at the bigger picture. The progress of Ghana is the ultimate goal. Godi is in Tema. Edia Onodia Braye Eni. Godi, thank you. Where's a hi, Obi? Welcome. A country where the president's cousin, Gabia Sarotredako, runs the show Ketsi Ameri Innovation Deal, West Blue, blah blah blah, and west of all, a minister of the government, Cecilia Dapa, though resigned, has over 1 million in her bedroom, blah blah blah. The sorry state of Ghana, Papa BCU, Ewakra, they are brainy. We say Obi, I see Honorable Ato Forson's press conference as much ado about nothing. Even there was no vim in his voice. Did I hear him say in 21 days they would march to the Bank of Ghana to throw out Dr. Ernest Addison and his deputies, to force them to resign? Even in Parliament, as I heard from Honorable Adongo in an interview, that Dr. Ernest Addison hasn't even honored the invitation by the Finance Committee. So how would the NDC do this? Clearly, it's a sign of an incompetent minority to think they can occupy the BoG and force the governor to resign in 3 weeks. He has forgotten his constitution. This is laughable and a propagandist theory. While listening to Honorable Ato Forson, that Akufo-Addo has moved the country 30 years back, has he forgotten the many corruption-related cases, some of which are in court, including Bas Brandon, Sada Jida, Aisofotun, and many more? Onel Amponsa, Amsterdam. Anyway, Abrain. Onel Amponsa, Ewo Amsterdam. Okay. Onel, thank you. We say, hi, Obi. Since when did Dr. Ato Forson and his minority in Parliament realize that the president has too much power? They are behaving like winter bird. The only time they cry is when there is nothing up in their mouth. Let's uphold politics of principles and sincerity. Odia Bray and no. Mamin Kaimo say enche Honorable Andy Apia Kubi would also join us. Ono ye MP for Asante Achem North. Ye kase Okobia East constituency. Member of Parliament Honorable Richard Achampong ewo eha enti moma yenshanenso. We say Obi Dr. Ato Forson and his NDC members were in your studio just to tarnish the image of Dr. Bawumia, but who just bless, no one can stop him. Mr. President, ewo Denmark, the ono ediabreye enono. We say Obi, Omanhene interviewed the Bank of Ghana rep on your show. He indicated that the expenditure on vehicle maintenance includes fuel, maintenance, and insurance, among others. Computer expenses include the software that monitors all transactions in the country, among other softwares and other security and antiviruses. The interview was on your show in your absence. Therefore, it's unfair to your audience to allow them to make such assertions without subjecting them to the official information provided by the BoG on your show. Jamal, Eddie, Jamal, thank you. We say Obi, in the COVID year, freight of cargo were increased, i.e., freight of 20-footer container was increased from 1,500 to 6,000 USD, and freight of 40-footer container was also increased from 3,000 USD to 9,000 USD during the COVID year. These imported inflation increases had negative impact on the volumes of our import, which also affected our revenue generation. Does he agree with me? That's one of our listeners, Yao Manso, Dia or no Diaba. And then the question he put to the Honorable KCL Ato Forson. It's your birthday today. Michael Ampedu, we a doctoral researcher at the University of Bristol in the UK. Into Michael Ampedu, with emotion, have a really, really good birthday and live to be 94.7 and beyond. Michael Ampedu, emotion. We say, hi, Obi. How come after serious criticisms by Nanado and Bawumia, then in opposition before 2016 elections, using the word incompetent against His Excellency John Mahama, who did zero financing at the Bank of Ghana, and even the bank had 700 million net profit. The so-called competent ones now in government couldn't do same zero financing at BoG, but rather collapsed it with huge losses. In fact, Nanado and Bawumia must apologize to His Excellency John Mahama and the good people of Ghana for misleading them before the 2016 elections. Okay, that's one there again from Papa Bisu. We say, hi, Obi, good afternoon. The residents of Prestia Huni Valley constituency are in search of a charismatic leader who can foster unity within our party and help us regain the seat from the NDC. We believe that someone like Lawyer Theo, with his exceptional qualities, has the potential to lead us to victory in the upcoming 2024 elections. Hashtag a new dawn. Greetings to Lawyer Theophilus Tewia, Abdul Latif Ramadan Ediwe Abraham. This one says, Obi, is it that the majority of government officials are supporting Dr. Bawumia because they will be maintained in their appointment if Bawumia wins, and the grassroots will remain where they are and only be used as farm tools, and when the food is harvested, the tools will not enjoy their toil and will be thrown somewhere and go for it during another farming season? Lessons to the grassroots. Shaibu Basti, Illinois, Frankfurt. Ediway Abba. We say, Obi, say a big kudos for the minority MPs, to the minority MPs for their good work, fighting for our motherland Ghana. We appreciate them a lot. Good evening, Obi. Great submission by the minority leader. Governor Addison must go. Popo or Botiano. This one says, Obi, please tell Honorable Ato Forson to stop chanting he can't convince anyone. His behavior and conduct will expose him. Nana Gazo or Nsoko. Obi, I see. Okay, I think I've dealt with this one already. Onel Amponsa in Amsterdam, thank you for your message. Where's Obi? At what expense are these parliamentary 30th anniversary celebrations? Okay, into Onopeso Obusa, a car, Parliament Airbo, our 30th anniversary. No, Don. Okay, also a friend is Steel or Salt Pond. And where's Obi? Today is my birthday. Watching you live from Finland. Ni Odate Mills. Ni Odate, happy birthday to you. Hello, Obi. I'm watching your program and the audit on the BoG. Please, are we taking into consideration inflation when comparing the figures to last year? I'm not holding brief for the BoG though. Thank you. Peter Esken. Peter Edase. Obi, good evening. And and happy to have you back on the hot seat. Can you please ask Honorable Ato Forson if Ivory Coast and the other countries is comparing Ghana to were all giving away free food and COVID-related expenditure? Very easy and disingenuous to now blame the government because we were lucky to have a president who protected the lives of the citizens instead of millions of dead, even in advanced countries. Here in Belgium, they didn't share any free food. Nana Ejare Kodie or Belgium and Odiwe Abrenana Yadase Papa. Where's Obi? Who is talking? Ato Forson? No. Ghana politics is really unprincipled. Okay, he did not manage a common ambulance. He should give us a break. Oyibo or Kaswa and Oyibo Yadase. Finally, we say, my name is Sami Yabua from Community 25. Please ask Dr. Forson to tell Ghanaians what they will do if Dr. Addison refuses to leave office after the picketing. Okay, I believe I asked him that question and you heard what he had to say. Good day, Obi. It's very alarming to hear the name of Dr. Bawumia in the mouth of the campaign leaders of Honorable Alan Cash. They keep emphasizing on the name Bawumia instead of Alan K. Time will tell. Zachary Osman or Lejokuku constituency and Odiwe Abrain. Ma mention afe trust more messages ni bebre na about. I would make time and read the remainder of your messages. Yeah, WhatsApp line here 0548 443 523 0548 443 523. Na what team in Edward Jinche Abba Ebeshane Akaini na Eddie Amount. Game Pack Games, no say one starting chair bia Opis Capadia, but more than download your app no from Play Store. The Game Pack Games app. And they ajibe bia. They say again a game amount for Atiashubu mu chapa a Game Pack Games. Yeah, draw no live draws no every day. De bia ewa Dom TV. So 9 a.m., 12 noon, and at 6 p.m. every day. Ubetimi actually a live draw no na also wetimi very easy to play. Unya download the app no from Play Store. In fact, say untimi download the app no so you can play on our website gamepackgames.com gamepackgames.com and I say ube dial *946# *946# all networks now also wetimi play. Say who player you just choose between 4 numbers from 0 to 9. 0 to 9. Ube chusumu 4 numbers and one in here. It's easy to play and easy to win. Amount for cash or more reno. Masa. And this pay say we make it some mola a cash. And we say cash our power. In the place, but more than because nobody beats our odds in Ghana at the moment. Game Pack Games, more mola, more power. It's regulated by the National Lottery Authority. In the moment in I say undi 18 years me pacho wuntimi entwabi bet and I say play responsibly na bibia ntimi nkoyi amount. ECG nso say Operation Zero exercise obu guso den and they do more yan say ECG staff be anywhere etna office omu be keep staff boni be ka skeletal staff office say we be attend to faults near the anko 4 day but all the staff na kan nyina eto on ho agukrom the omo kwen na say Omusika wa amanfo bills are muntua and omo baba beje. Omo ba they will take advantage to pick munsumude to omo build the ECG digital customer platform. ECG digital customer platform. Ena omo air building ti wa omo nyanya wo information no ombefa sa kwan no so na omatimi age wo information on the day inti moma yenyina ye momode na yenhye ne nso ade ahia papa it is omo ba emrama won kwan so omuntu sa na mo omutui it the mestre mo ni die mu ase se omo ba wofie a men kasa won ma won kwan mo mu wura wofie because meter na ebo wo ho no ECG property into omo kwan se omo ba eba behwe once they have their property with you the law allows them to come and check into omo ba mama won kwan na omuni say we Operation Zero ni nyina say ebeboa ama ECG etimegina won nan so na oma serve won so yi papa inti hye efa emaye na mema won problems bi amsremu a sounds na Ghana Revenue Authority say omuni Ministry of Local Government Decentralization account to ma abo ano ya te property rate o ene almost say eje ebe o eja anya aba bedu property rate no aba enti almost say enfantum nyina manim say property rate bills for all metropolitan municipal and district assemblies is here abedu. It's available electronically na website we use portal.myassembly.gov.gh portal.myassembly.gov.gh into all ratepayers ubetua property rate in kwa dia also log into the portal and the website no portal.myassembly.gov.gh with the phone number and a log in now validate your property validate and who bill was a and then you can pay electronically. I mean, you use mobile money, the or debit or credit card, say a bank transfer and a check. Property rate there was a there must be no cash payment whatsoever to anyone. The main physical cash use this electronic payment platform. All payment must be made online. Portal.myassembly.gov.gh. And moment in I so when tria when sanctions enya dia obetimi akase media me property rate me ntua watomra emra ene obedi into you have to pay and GR abanyoma ye simple amount say the be ya obetimi aiden etua unti bibia se afre number we 0302 756 820 0302 756 820 we Commissioner General Ankasa na nsa ehye krata we ase Ekosiisen so ni ehaya Asempa FM ma Mati Honorable Richard Achampon nka dada ba mame ma no akwaba na afi officially no yeni nkomo Honorable boko de
boko bi
constituency boko
na me e dia che boni bia ne boni kakra bi wo but very bad but issue no police for something no
okay
me can was me say na comedy be court it's about newly commissioned SHS no some behaviors be other people be or more it's very bad until I say Monday all other stakeholders no will meet together so be ya e betime ne nkura na akasa any other parties no na dey asumdua ba but eba ahoden from there week dey nyantebone bia ona ehu wache eja yesi obi okolifo se obi wakotena broche na mframa bofa no ntin se me koso bebiri kura no o kan e bi befu ani so to wa beji se ye note ma o we na ho jojo se we summer holidays wo ho painful krum ho ti obi akwaba so abusu afo nyina ho ye
parliament nso boko
parliament o hwa na
is am rise.
Yeah, that was last Thursday. Yeah. It was a Friday night holiday.
Yes.
Until you saw a long bag money away.
Okay. In the moment resuming
October, end of October.
Oh, okay.
Until you been up a committee, you look as a committee meeting now. Maybe the whole
finance committee and
local government committee.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. This assembly, you know, NRC's normal count. It's a audited account. No any issues. Internal auditors on raising. You know they appear before PAC.
Yes.
And some of the infractions and so to me deal with it at this level. Before some of the PAC and many of them have been resolved. Okay. And so now who police what is happening and infractions on reduce. Almost when said there's somebody out there or share Juma Moyen. Ebema Ubia our criminal mind be required to do any other thing. Be sure to say idea me many problem. They also say corporate governance and no book up on keeping of files. Yeah. Obeying impress had to retire the impress a problem. If you say a bicycle into a G2 crana or buy our account for the money. No book up on obey expenditure, especially the hard general system to see any payments outside the gift system. Because when a serious accountability and then this in introduce so gift payment system. Into other Minister of Finance, not to you see what every agency is doing. Okay. Control Accountant General will also see because they will give authorization at expenditure bill code. Into show code, you know, nice one what budget or compare with your budget. Until who say expenditure na say part of the year's budget, they will decline payment. System ninti mikotabasa na you get value for money. The many of them now will say hono so you see a lot of payments are made outside the government system. Comes a network failure, which is not acceptable. In terms of segment, there are no more core regions now. What we started doing is you're inviting many of the artists in our crowd. The middle belt, you know, because they be more kwawa, and it's a job so for about. Should be able to quite few jobs so back drive crab 9 hours easy and assembly so many IGF on the crown send no mutimi raise and no property rate no so say buy na no CD 30% say 30%
GR be for 30 not 70 kwa assembly no
and no but say no money revenue mu raise so far it's almost to the be hit on account to be no. They are working with it. Until so your full disclosure. So by the end of the quarter, it be a 1 billion Ghana cedis. Until you slap a percentage on it, you consider 30 and the 70%. But a situation whereby you don't know the quantum, how do you then determine say yes issue and issue? Be no common fund to acquire because particular 252 say by transfer not less than 5%. Accomodate DACF for onward transmission to the local assembly for development.
Yes.
It is one who total revenue no by agent. Obey who say we 5%, 3% and 4%. So see I mean say 2023. Into bon total revenue no now it will November presented budget. On no enye the actual this next year. Media no oba na be the actual numbers. This time no sabana bu kwase obu kwase akọ. Into women na any chess and balances say to me to talk at least what is due everybody will be given. Now there's one so the no obetim there we go assemblies na obi bebre to mo nya dwuma bia. There's no resources. Yes, no resources to work. Into we power for na dwuma but so me so wutua nika. One money too so de be ya dwuma na ketua wutua no. What's the meaning of that?
That's a common fund also my releases bia na.
Oh, obi na common fund na yen fund say and I make a total revenue as me. Nipa na way assessment na ka che common fund administrator say this quarter I see amount be at 3 billion. Nemo mi ni sikenti amount 1 billion, che 1 billion no ma assembly so no. The 2 billion no saban farmer wa. Meaning say there's a shortfall of 2 billion. Into there why you when the budget to my expect so the 3 billion be no. And then you are here with 1 billion. And this are who 5 projects and why a market or budget you can do 1 or 2. Any challenge, you know. Based on assignment in be also why employ nipa bebre or some so e be engineer we even temporary staff before more so betima boa ma adwuma na koso. So by the end of the day you pay them every month but they don't have the tools to work. So they are ready to work but there's no resources. Nti we money na ma ye come as me na kofa Bank of Ghana nkomo yi e ba ye obi enye say the person Addison and yeah then yeah target or head institution it will be a head institution or only take a decision ema institution no nti what ultimate be heading apart from or no make upon we governor na except finance minister no so no ye then e ka ho including the president of the republic and the vice president didn't na make us Bank of Ghana no board no Minister of Finance our rep so and by law no the governor can never report or lay any document in parliament. The reporting the EBR no is submitted to Minister of Finance for onward submission to parliament. Eti unknown to me jina plenary ho say obabe debate and obabe presentation bia etu Minister of Finance oti board no so bi governor nankasa so and the chair board no into bia ono ehwe sika so say nipa na no determine na ketua on the determine say by say afi nipa dodo say na memmo tu kwan kwa brochire maintenance e ka say na mebo directors allowance say na metua finance say to hobi o aban nankasa so ho kire no na opesika na aban na ko Bank of Ghana say mon preti sika enfama me in the law me kai 2015 and started Bank of Ghana act an amendment ye koya we ye say baby akosomo satam na ye kwa IMF no beka ya so IMF proposal ne say ye zero financing ya kontokwa ya mu bi ne ye ona ba Joseph mu ne kuto semo na say no Bank of Ghana ni ye nyina dia. So in case of any emergency situation,
I will say a fall on them.
We have to fall on them because they're a bank of last resort. Now kasi zero finance na ukwa kwa jebu sambu amano na what you with interest the abra Bank of Ghana so sika wo there. It doesn't make any economic sense. Any account kwa na yesi okay yenye 5%. Your purpose 5% na IMF rep no sorry for meeting as in the wofu. No odebu fo sorry kwa. Ina say yes we are protecting our nation. Into say IMF na ye kon mo sika na mo fa. Don't about communicating to say omo was proposing to do zero financing, but Parliament of Ghana says no 5%. So if they have any issue, they have to bring Parliament of Ghana, not the presidency or the government. But in the midst of all this, say they now work on 2015-2016, which year acquire IMF, I say election year no, with this zero financing from Bank of Ghana. The NDC now will say I'm incompetent. NDC now also mismanage economy no. Kebet me di amo matwe sika media calling elections no. We remain disciplined on Asempa FM. And this zero finance for Bank of Ghana. Now aban way me no can say o ma print is up to 77 billion and that support to aban way. Without recourse to parliament. It is also 5% of previous year's total GDP and a revenue now. It's more than that, almost 7%. Fine, you find saying say COVID Russia Ukraine war your problem. Why is there any discuss a problem no? Section 30 of Act 918 no. Clear. So when there are issues, if you want to give overdraft or loan to if I say the executive, which will exceed more than 5%, you go back to Parliament and seek for approval. You don't grant the facility and go for ratification. It's never done. It's from the way go no. Governor non kasano and respect laws no the year no.
But the act makes room for emergency situations, no?
Emergency no say if you have emergency, report to the finance minister for finance minister to go to parliament and seek approval
before you come and deal with the emergency.
No emergency in the parliament there be anyhow and necessary kwa recess parliament can be recall. Emergency no ya janto baby ya. The emergency now sick room say COVID na emergency.
It was.
Emergency can da so ho. Emergency idea see like of a sudden na BBC so you need to act. COVID no you prepare you no nuane a lockdown. COVID was with us, so it is with us there for a longer period of time. And you one of expenditure be na so mama nyanwa ase na makobo bia mane. Na nyanwa po mo no e no yankoto aduane e baby. I'm prepared to answer na ye no aduane no. Nti one of expenditure we na that could be na ka say a critical situation say be airport na pre be declare emergency. Now, though the plane was not built to land here, but because of emergency situation, no, or declare a emergency, until you have to allow the plane to land to save the passengers and the aircraft. And knowing a serious emergency situation, I can never be any woman. Obi, you see, you can't spend what you don't have. In the midst of all this, you know, not so you discipline. You look at your expenditure. You compare the previous years. Okay, times are hard. Abakra so announced about my head cut because of the debt restructuring at Ekosiisen. 18-year plans are spent by 97.4 million on travels. Because of our situation, let's spend let's say 60 million and I say 40 million. Maintenance, your programs are spent 131.6 million. Because of our situation, no, let's do less than 80 million. It's by the end of the day you can cut back some expenditure to make service.
But how do you know, sir? The outends now who are a year into ABR they projected higher than this. No matter what. How do you know?
Well, last year expenditure, if I say maintenance expenditure, no. Now so in a particular year, we increasing by 114%. Kind of correct? 114%. Do you catch a course no? Most Russia Ukraine war on a my situation will mean. Most say a post-COVID a recovery in ye be a major problem. Eti abansi ononagme for court to be a also 30%. Council of State so almost they are donated 20% of their allowances. Abansi foreign travels the ministers here or cut back. Some meetings kwapon momu to ko monyen ewo omo offices. Dey na abansi o yes sir. To cut back cost. Say be make savings because sikani ni ho. Na ebe man the deficit then I lower. No onye sika e the yard foforo. It abanye we say then also as a agency of the state also we. Now we can see bill 114 e be 246%, travel expense increase by 246%. How? Eti ontimi en justify asem nyana. Now be there me yakra was asem me say. I say last week Bank of Ghana issue statement. So can we statement now? In the statement, they are calling on government to recapitalize Bank of Ghana because some more a negative equity of 55 billion.
Sure.
What it means, investors will be scared doing business with you, and there's a bad signal to the international market. It is a main treasury bill. Number better, we need equity, we need Japan in case of a BBI may follow on, so our price too higher. Risk no, because there's a risk. Into risk, we have to pay more interest on my investment. It's a major interest, That's the China be here. Misaka no half. We say a buying a recapitalize Bank of Ghana, a part of IMF arrangement. At the same time, they also with $250 million. How would you see new head office? Now with $250 million, they don't such a process on recapitalize our bank about negative equity. Into what business say private business, I want to be managing the business. Say what do be car yechon. A career agent or plano. We get to your nashi. Nothing I would also be quite to East Logan as I say, SC 6 unit apartment, and then me in Makwa tenant. I brought you because of police station.
By you saying, sir, Nioma Okeke, members of the board now me bubu omudino, omunim sa Nioma we.
Now for me one conveyor domoye. They sit as a board, they take decisions for the bank.
Maybe they were faced with circumstances beyond their control. Oh no, you are speaking now after the fact. In Dubet can easy said you okay. When you are in the steering wheel and yet me sure say you easy said you okay can
Obi who can bro for apology asem no. Ama na aye hu bi say nka omuni bibia mbetimi aye meboa. Enti Dana se see boko se see no workers go mu ye adwuma.
Yes.
But bank project be suspended abanso onisika. Or suspending the project to a bank project na hospitals, schools, roads. I benefit you and I no. About suspended baby because he can't ho. That's a Bank of Ghana. It was $250 million. I didn't get so there. Now, only finance minister, any president, Ekosiisen, no man start to say print more money for us. More printing, we are not time no soon. No, so much as you can. No, must have a jack catch up, so so write off 48 billion. Who does that? So me put them right here, Juma. Probably somewhere. What I say? What be jibusia? What say me baby trabusia no?
That's a buying a bobusia free a buying ho.
What say?
Government is borrowing from government.
Government no so catch yes sir or independent or so be as per the arts. Anything that your friend or a parliament compass of a banner. But what I say, into you independent after say I point to pet as I will behave as independent institution. It's the president catch you look at the numbers. Like I say, if you exceeded the 5%, I can't go beyond the 5%. And it can also sack you.
No, or my name bo.
Nasikaram the quay there, just say, man, or Muji says, Canino, or mine away. Inflation, 42%. One cassa, what catch our Yatumu say. After to disposable income and purchasing power. Eti sika nanka kuta 100,000 o de betono and say ne man 100,000 to me to be na wa woni pa no gina kan CSM anwa olive oil no turn 300 no and me chom ko na do 700 Ghana cedis. This is what the effect on you and I. We go to the same market. Eti cascading effect no o yin na yeso ba nipa na o create problem no hwa ketu oje president kwa poji secretary ni bi obi president oji secretary ni bi obi je 120,000 a month na the salary to abama no kwetwa ne ka say na say ni person be cause all this mess now see you the circumstances o ma be na ebo obi o me that say see you 11 a o man be bo want say asem no 11 ni twa na yentua and delay be 6 months o man boy 6 months na levy implementation delay no o man boy and yeah 11 year you delay 6 months na Bank of Ghana 250 million any presidency you look at their budget, look at their lifestyle. Obi eba bedu na no media review a finance minister about parliament no obi a wo say economy no first 6 months no of the year we grow by 4.2%. Any year now target 2.8% no. O catch it say e be grow by 1.5%. Now some people say catch say what 10 corner. What 10 corner for improvement and answer for regression. Obi what 10 corner wo hu anim awoko meboa. So now wo dan nchim. E na what 10 corner say wonim da ho awoko. It was projected 2.8 now nya 10 corner wie dia. Obi ka wo nya 3.4. What tell you na no what if I say growth no downwards to 1.5%. The hope be na wo. Abai catch say even non-performing loans our banks no are increasing from 14.1% to 18.7%. It's about 4.6 no actually was say some crop for no jibo si omuntime den entimintu ya. Dentro omuntimintu ya high taxes. And the omuntimintu ya. Cost of borrowing in the cost of doing business na high. Etinema ya ekwoyie economy a wata ne kwana no na non-performing loans from 14.1 ekwo 18.7%. Ndobada the minister announce mo ka che wedi. World Bank published say because of these actions and inactions no nipa ba 850,000 e push ma akọ poverty level. Anya 850,000. Meno kase napko not you my dear about 8 months about to omoka. So be 700 Ghana cedis times 8 months sen or me about 57,000 which is 319 million Ghana cedis. About so onye sika ntua. But bet me sika spent 339 million on a cathedral. So which one is your priority? Cathedral who onye said who sit down amna no motu moja hoko. Do this we ni kwano ono kwaje 114 million Ghana cedis.
O design den kwa.
National Cathedral no.
Na no ye kwa. Obi edwuma onu asua no oya architect no wadro why drawings am also design bibi kwa.
Na adena kasa na ye draw ma utu 114 million no. Adena wo he. What chairman no Cathedral na we. What say le block bi wo.
Somewhere foundation.
Domo ho ho.
Na so motu amena no.
So motu amena no meja hoko. 339 million and so eti obi wo hwe aban wo yote so eni ni appointees amo assist any nations e kan na edu baby e ba bedri oman na ekofom nyina no every sign na we but like they don't care, they don't respect any person. Na ka we Bank of Ghana governor now look at all these breaches. Bibiapo anti no say men kopo for ratification nenga say okay e bia na dwuna ba ne ho so no let's go and do the right thing.
Yeah, because based on the advice of more lawyers, the amom say maybe they've done nothing wrong.
Okay, so we law school.
Una office say omo breach laws, but they think they've done nothing wrong.
And no be man
I you also about committee we catch them so your omo your autonomous.
And no be man akwa fiase no. Say lawyers e bi betima ma ill advice. What I say, what kuni pa ba say uprim no ka say man sweater. Obe how akwa ma ka say bi. Judge bia yede ko bi ko court or the ade ko bo bi na judge person save akwa no tim kana semi into just enti odi aba ne ball na so de sika ni twa na osi ya odi ball mi na so de sika ni twa no ebi na wuye
obi say obi the NDC should give us a break even wampa was a governor of the central bank, Samuel Brian Boabin, and Oduwe, Brian Boabin, thank you. Ma main share the other ones now for Memrana Honorable and Twaso MIA. This one says, Obi, the minority should get serious. Governor Addison is going nowhere. Regards to incoming Clote Kwale MP, Valentino Ninoy Norte, Sir Obama Pokwase. Well, it's a good afternoon, Obi. If the NDC succeeds in removing Dr. Addison, they should use the same method to get rid of Ken Oforiatta. Ken cannot completely destroy the economy before NDC takes over in 2025. Dr. Lawrence, Washington, D.C. and Oduwe Abba. We say, Obi, Dr. Addison should not be at post by now. Wa messy everything up. And Namuraba or Kade. Odie and no Yadase. But Obi, there is nothing wrong with Honorable Ato Forson and Afenyamak in eating or enjoying together. I actually think it's a good way to help foot soldiers understand that the two groups are not enemies. They may oppose each other when it comes to policies and how to manage the country, but they are not enemies. Not sure why Ato Forson is apologizing to his people. Kwame Entry from Pong, somewhere in the US of A. Kwame, thank you. I hope you're doing well. It's been a while. Where's the Obi? Welcome. Kudos to the minority for exposing these people. God bless them. Sir Prince or Ayen Suano. Where's the Obi? Good evening. You've been missed. Welcome back. In 2021, under the supervision of the same governor of Bank of Ghana, the central bank recorded a surplus of 5.72 billion cedis. If in 2022, the bank recorded a loss of 60.8 billion cedis, that's Ghana cedis, and this, according to the 2022 annual report and financial statement of the Bank of Ghana, was largely attributed to the impact of the DDEP. My question to Honorable Ato Forson and the minority is whether it is fair to ask for the resignation of this governor of the Bank of Ghana, since the DDEP is not a result of any major operational cost. Dennis Ewachado, Honorable Tene Wayne say, if say the Bank of Ghana can say, sa loss no, as a result of the DDEP. Now you're more operational cost, and that's something directly about their operations and the loss nearby. Why should the governor go as a result?
50% haircut no money, and it translated to how much? It do 60 billion. So what is the point here? Say exact amount to there. 50% haircut now say abide the moment.
Yeah.
Say exact amount to there. Because don't forget, the Bank of Ghana and they are not there to make profit.
Sure.
Any profit making institution. If you are not interested, say why I saw your profit no way.
Yes.
But loss no buy no. If you drip deeper, another say some expenditure who are in Omanya can no be a dream. A negative equity of 55 billion. When they transfer all the 6.8 billion loss, no. And then the common reserve. It is reserve no more of some positive amount, which is credit.
Yes. And
they reduce by 55 billion. No. And yes, the same amount can be on the other side. Because all transfer with debt, no. But now more some credit. Our reserve account may reduce no about 55 billion. No. The question is 50% haircut now by the moment. It translates into how what amount? And yet the exact amount in the account has me. And certainly, they can loss no then can loss no. Now loss no account has no. Obia who printed the camera nipa no or can say no. On the face of it, he's making a good point. But Obia who bought 77 billion. Nani pana amu writing off 48 billion. What you go? 100 years ago. Write off no nipa or say city. You can't write off. You charge the write off no. A year agent analysis na your current OLEM substandard doubtful and a loss. And the current no we charge only 1%. They 1%, 5%, 25%. And the doubtful no 50%. Loss no 100%. The Chinese 48 billion no.
Ekosiisen.
What do you mean now? Quack debit or profit and loss account. And among us numbers we know. It is like a write-off minima. And can a loss of 60.8 billion. Okay, you money sir. It's like a buy. It will receive revenue. And the coach here the overdraft now
Now, how would Aban raise revenue when every move to raise revenue, the minority will resist it through because the easiest way through introduction of taxes. Now, so some more resistant. They are buying anything.
When you say taxes are too much, a very redundant.
Yes.
And many people be a tax on. And a container terminal our port is virtually empty. Why? Because of high taxes. It is all share or charges on our sura and no better as for Togo. But you have some duties, but as compared to that of Ghana, no, or cheaper than Ghana. It won't say no. I'm losing a lot of revenue from the port. So let's look at our tax handles. The NAE through what? A bema man for then I import them baby. In the media review, no. Minister no I can say a man for this introduce taxes no. And we have more imports. Until some beton baby and yes, and as the same will to watch them. One of the imports in Yama, I told almost 1 year. Last week, yes, last week, my sister station, I do my friend. A friend say, Guta. Almost say, can say, Okuta, if I say 200,000. Now, say, be a 40-feet container, 6 no bet me a year. And then, about 2 upon about struggles and what me a year too. It was the motivation, so about I call important bank loan, no Ironica. Or Jiba loan to me to ya. Until we had no profit no about there at my year. It existing taxes in our work upon any partners of Muntimintia. Where if a minority home bay. Who, as a minister of state, you know, when I will share say, tax performance at the same, will tax revenue to GDP in relation, a saying, okay, me estimation say, levy, a mammy, a beer 6 billion. But the end of the quarter, no, mean 320 million. And to me, share this tax year, say, if the purpose for which you introduce a tax on M, what there, we either reduce the rate or take it off to boost another confidence for people to do more businesses and pay some taxes. COVID-19 1% levy a year to year. Many people are complaining about this year in free because laws on the tax may be or sunset crosses. But by my extension, it is a woman managing or tax system near one of the Bremen. Oh, yes, as no show expenditure. I saw Katiba some expenditure about 3 months ago. Obako mo bia no GRA staff no mo ho e the invoices are a VAT receipt amount for e dey atone mo pay abontin. You know, as a committee, no say that action no I the positive results so more revenue. Obi na sa di way am more revenue I na komajai. Abra napko adwumefuma pamo mo timo here more hands to do this work upon and get these guys on commission base because indirect okwapono GF no they run on commission until they form more to retention until the more they correct they apply their percentage and get more money until no quite me to more taxes na any day now no be so import to a Land Cruiser taxes on it in kwapon 357,000 Ghana cedis taxes. The financial could talk about $150,000 so by beton. No could just a tax we. Which we are, what we talk and say
10 billion.
So, eti motivation being no so about class account so by beton. And I could garages and crochet. Already case so almost 1 year and talk. Because there's no money in the system. I don't put an answer no because as we go, but no Asempa. I say some my years said that person. I know how to spend money. Since you can need the demo, will be so spend the ADC. And also kwa yisika no me to fie. O ma to car, I store. I will tamal me boa. To me sika no be good system no see enyu so bi. The one money is in circulation na. Uko bank also open no be bi. It is anko yes bon so. Though a criminal as we yisika no. But who this case man 40 say ne dia e so be yipi spending sika no ama a rubricant sister no say be ya me no me ko bank loan na yes dem yes say
ma men kai metie for say na ye hwe nim say honorable Landy Apia Kubi Asante Achim North Mrashebe Remember cancer wahaba as we speak. It's 15 minutes after 6 Onyama me cancer. I don't know what's wrong, but we say good evening Obi. The minority in parliament are just making ugly noise and their usual mischievous politics seble or secondi takrade. This one says that OPK patriotic voices ewo go so Osei, the minority are just doing propaganda in your studio because aside the global crisis, our GDP is 4.5% against Mahama and the NDC's 3.6 in 2016. So when it comes to management of the economy, the NPP government is a better manager of the economy than the NDC. So the alternative is indeed scary and empty. Regards to Dr. Digitalization Baumia, who is the MPP's best bet for 2024. Thank you. Obi, I don't know why Dr. Addison is still in office. Why is he not resigning after all these mayors? Ghana. Felix Mante, we communications director, Edema PPP. That's Progressive People's Party. And Udiwe Apa. Yeah, that's it, Papa. We say, Obi, this is laughable. Honorable Ato Forson and some minority members are standing trial for corruption-related charges. He shouldn't forget that. Alhaji Aminu or Begro Odie Eni. Obi, good evening. Today, the minority are saying Anado took Ghana back 30 years. Oh, Ghana, what at all have we done wrong to have this type of opposition? In the 70s and 80s, radio stations closed at 10 p.m. and resumed at 5 a.m. Obi, in which year and under whose regime did radio stations close at 10 p.m. and come back on the airwaves at 5 a.m.? Is it not former President John Mahama? Francis or Gulf City? Anyway, Obi, the whole of your program today, I've never heard one single MPP person in your studio. Why? And I just made the announcement. Nipa near China on my Americans. Thank you. Obi, welcome. Kudos to the minority for exposing. Okay, I think I've dealt with this particular message already. Obi, I've heard you and others lambast the government for excess borrowing. Please invite one of your economists to your show to tell us how much you need to borrow to survive. If you are finding it difficult to pay interest on 9.5 billion, how much will you need to borrow to pay interest on 120 billion and also borrow to do your business? The NDC measured our economy between 2012 to 2016. One for Woodin and count. We say, hey, Honorable Ato Forson, when you're in opposition, as if all the brains are in your head. But when you are faced with the reality, that's where you will start to explain how you failed. Kwejo Boateng, all the way from Italy. And anyway, about good afternoon, Obi. The minority is talking of the country being in a bad state, yet using the little money left to celebrate 30th anniversary. My name is Jojo. Thank you. Obi. My name is Samuel Yeboah from Tema Community 25. The statement from John Mahama on the abandoned houses is so embarrassing. He should be the last person to speak of abandoned project. Few years ago, the affordable houses started by President Kufuor in many parts of the country were like forest reserves. In fact, I was surprised to see Mr. Mahama building one of his so-called E-block schools just behind the abandoned affordable houses in Tema Community 25, where I live. It took President Nana to complete all these houses. For 8 good years, the NDC left all these houses and other projects started by President Kufuor to rot. Now, when the table turned, you guys have the balls and guts to speak about abandoned houses. The NDC has no shame indeed. Obi, thank you very much for educating the NDC. They've refused to accept the fact that during COVID-19, the country's expenditure was against zero revenue generation for about 8 months. As a developing country, we should be very grateful for the current state of the economy. The NPP government is working extremely hard to improve the living conditions of Ghanaians. The legend, Odie Eni. Where's the Obi? To borrow Honorable Alote Jacob's words about Dr. Baumier's quote, he is not tainted or dented. Simpliciter, the best to lead and the next to lead. Master Planner Junior or Kintampo Odie Eni. We say, okay, let me do this finally. Fusaini Salifu Kaswa Zongo. Also, why is it that the minority did not compare that of Mahama's administration with the current administration? Ghana politics is now cheap. Meaning the comparison now respect somebody. But it's a good evening, Obi. I always hear from the NDC communicators that things were better during John Mahama's time, and that makes the president Nana incompetent. But the truth is that if John Mahama and the NDC are to be in power by now, cement would have been sold for about 200 Ghana cedis, fuel 70 Ghana cedis a gallon, and would be even in scarce supply. And the cedi to dollar would have been bought for 30 Ghana cedis per dollar, and even none will be found in the banks. No more to the NDC and their flag bearer, John Dramani Mahama, Dublin or Amsterdam in Holland. Politicians Obi, he's complaining about taxes in place now, but he's forgotten his government also heaped taxes on us. They will do same again if given the chance to come to power. Joseph or Achimota ABC and Udiwe Abrain. Ma yen hwene yen toa so na ansa na no Access Bank de achede yen kwa promotion no ebrem de yen kan nyina ne se ye remittance kama into foreign remittance ebia unua bi wa manone wasende uska once 500 Ghana this or more, and as I also wa Ghana I will send this kama akwa manone o send 500 Ghana this or more at any of these platforms. So Access Africa, Western Union, MoneyGram, RIA, ZPay, Unity Link, and Express Pay. Ubetimi aji usika no Access Bank branch bia na ukoji usika na once 500 Ghana this and above ye che wade kwa instant in the friend no achede nkwa promotion ye cha de sa, and it's still on. I mean you go so ye che Kaise Access Bank 53 branches were Ghana every weekday or more juma weekends, and so some selected branches a year juma, and it's your number one remittance bank in Ghana at the moment. They say if a remittance say Okojiske will be send you a from an enkwa there Access Bank was more than banking. The moment they say onso de ho ebeshim na bibie timi akoyi. Na let me do this one afe memrana honorable and wrap up my Sukasa a affordable luxury housing scheme. Adani bi East Legon Hills and a means a site udruwa obi onim Sukasa site bi abeka kire o ma dan F papa. You can see real luxury, quality finishing near solid min Canada. Now almost 3-bedroom units with an outhouse started from $97,500 or its prevalent CD equivalent. And your 4-bedroom unit with an outhouse and also $195,000 or its prevalent CD equivalent. Yes, Simon convenient payment terms. In doing Sukasa Ninkomo 0302 960 865 0302 960 865. I said, "Makano dine F Papa Sukasa GH." Omuye brutal. That's their handle on social media. Sukasa, or say building on trust. Very, very, very important. Honorable
Obi enti mediwi no.
Yes.
I'm say yebesha same to say tester be. Eka say expenditure year during COVID time. No?
Yes.
Other countries are say expenditure maybe, which is wrong. Even US and UK, we say no amount for food coupon. We are aware. A bit me at $300 from 100 up to $400-500. The more they shopping during COVID time.
Yes.
Engineer inquire na COVID time they spend this amount for. But because I can say I said 8 months revenue was zero during COVID time. Who told him say revenue was zero? That time we could put a telcos a cash in because of the lockdown. The amount for you so online and your name be brave. Yes. They made a lot of profit. Though other sectors will be affected, but then the beginning run is zero. Intimacy on revise and in news. Obrakoso can say, I want to minority in the parliament celebrated 30th anniversary of democracy.
More around the country, more spend this car.
MPs we are not part of parliamentary service. Elected members of parliament.
Yes.
We don't take decisions over there. Yeah, then they say a buying name of the parliament, say a year loan, a year agreement, the TBN a year wajuma. Into no 4 years no so akwa into any pension be out by parliament, but staff no more pension. They a different from parliamentary service.
The parliamentary service back decides someone year like the decision to celebrate 30
parliamentary service board activity and your MP's activity. But what I say, but the MPs
can suggest here or hunting holding
the decision
celebration.
Decision you take on to hobby, but that's what I make a suggestion.
Now somebody will be too many.
We don't approve their budget. More budget in the parliament and approve.
Sure.
But more decisions no your more board. Say Bank of Ghana Asempa yeke. Until we are part of the decision making.
The Parliamentary Service Board includes the majority and the minority leaders.
They are just representing
the interest of MPs.
I don't know what is it again. Yeah, celebration be a parliamentary service in a year. Some MPs near can have boom near question, but Binaja, yeah, person will be a normal there. I don't know. Only different. Only different. In terms budget, then your budget. No, because you compare NDC 2016 and MPP. Nippon on 2 chromacy. But end of 2016, near desktop A saying 120 billion.
Only you see the growth figures.
Growth media, you can't use one item and take a decision. And it's about 600 billion a desktop. And then this interest payment is less than 10 billion. In the 2023 budget, proposal to 52 billion interest.
94.7.
No, like I'm no millionaire how until about to interest. And then this is you quite make me. I notice a sentiment to 84 centimeter to your canty, you quite debt restriction. What is about food will chromosida? Inflation almost 15%. Meno Casaba from Crania 42%. Growth from Nocas and this is now year 3.5. And they are doing 1.5% any year. That's what are they talking about? Debt to GDP ratio. No, you're saying 57%. And then Mino can say almost 104%. And then as I say, even Cocoa Board, Cocoa Business, you're going to my restructuring about 9.7 billion. Almost a month to year. Almost started to 2028. Cocoa Bills, because I'm a 4 for some young family and kind of public debt to home. It's a bus compare numbers in there. Obi MPP a good of mine in my chain a bambia, but we are so. Almost when you see catching a bambia. What is there to show? Acquire a train once here, even greater crime could be crashed. Acquire a train once here. Now do be to put in the Nasam I time crop. It's Busana what bonnet the same kind of problem. Obi a babu sena ke de sesi krom
bia east omo ye mo kwan ma wade na
akwan be no mo ye
benchman kwanta e ko e
ahonya bia east
na say twem
enu bia east be bia
the same road and nama ba e ba isam de bi so e the same road
e san de bi so nya bia
so be twem na ode ba
me fa go so mem kasapen
e kwan ni nyenti na akofa ho na kwan ni ya so be fa isam de bi so aba ho
kasapen kwan obi woka okwantimi ko kasapen Kosha kwanya da kasapen ko pick and 50 me consensus. Man for one ma for sunyan doma nkran kwanta.
Sa.
Yes. Ben 9 West it is all American.
Na e free. If you free esam de bi so. E ko Osei kojo krom na kwan na nya papa.
Me da me fa so ache. I also nya me consensus. Me free de bi so uko straight.
Ubetwem Osei kojo krom.
No se kojo krom aka left.
Okay.
On be for same na akọ.
Okay.
Uko straight. Me was straight.
Okay.
Ntimen obi anya me kwan do mama de ma contract nyina omo be no mo se omo be kokko de besinde contractors
e do kon so is third road ho
and this time e kakra bi na no
consulency capital na ye de
adabokrum
sa
wunim ho
oh no minim adabokrum na me western region even
wunim ho mo fi se Ghana ye nkra ni kuma se
enya adabokrum na ayi fi
hwan
chairman ayi nana toku enya adabokrum no fi
Nana Toku wayera
Nana Toku fi adabokrum
Nana Toku fi takwa
apart from awodua minim so fi awodua
ni bibia ni adabokrum
o catch time election na yi too big edu too we catch them say obi ye win na me de wa komi krom adabokrum
wanti ni bisa se fra busia be mu wa adabokrum o fra bia na kampanye ti se Nana Toku nka yie bank o ma yie wo o fra bia it immediate area no
yes
Unibank Capital Bank Big Capital Heritage Bank any other banks Bank of Ghana evo compliances no there so no can form o catch me at say a bad corporate governance and I then across all this or my default to loans
but at the time it was true and
me can be say so
okay
Heritage Bank podi or say agongo say do agongo say or say wakwaje contract okoko board na contract ni sika eno de Equity Bank eno to rubuku last me was that so quarter in nwie. Look at these reasons. What go amount for bank? Eti wusu all these infractions governor nenya with them. Reasons are only revoke ebimulance so no. Ebia na atu sisi the governor nenya ne there. I don't know if you are getting my point.
I get you, me too.
Because we see obi amfa mra nya adwuma. Amount for deposit o ma manage ni ye. Single obligatory limits say nipa ba kontimi nyi sika introduce a certain level and exposure buy into no because cover for transfer sika bi or the bi ekobi other ayi the same thing or see where Pakosidium bank ukrosu ni nyina indigenous banks so na samra na wo apply a special deposit act na ugina so and Bank of Ghana act I will take side decisions so and no na wo so what cause all this mess about by Bank of Ghana a negative equity of 55 billion. Now government didn't say no. The permanent say permanent coffee will be where you never know. Where a difficult decision to take. Me so by my party aboy. But now the day no, the actions and inactions. I'm a Bank of Ghana book 60.8 billion. A private business and go because I debate no. And so many na coffee. Need competent people to come and handle affairs for us. Because bank of last resort, not a bank, no, liquidity in your answer. You want to hear him be on a befa. International market, yeah, must see a more abusive view. But be a need also condemn. Now, who knows say a ban now or the boss or do count to 48 billion? We see America capitalize over, but offers can way. And another day can say the worst decision to make is a you meet you at all. Because abani kwa do ka wantimentu ya nipa wantimentu ya neka wosi usakon wo say onko pebusia information odwetire ma na wa obi asem ye ka kire hwan na bibi ofi a ngezi pe bi mi enkoto habayire abani de ka amanfo ma bombosia pensioners oso ntimentu ya o ma head cut that restructuring na usa ko gina ba wosi abani ma misika na mfa ko Bank of Ghana yi na ye collapse Bank of Ghana na wotwe sika ma abani na nim se susu so na beba. Now about 287.8 million there. I'm saying undisclosed expenditure. I'm going to say who expenses some year. To no domain man 2D. Into expenditure lines na ni nyina de wodi or Hong Kong de need 287.8 million. Now Asempa bet ma be Asempa financial a statement to me ja say a betanable show. Nti mama me and say a business as usual. The budget say MPP for can I is not going anywhere. It's about you and I Obi. How no the minimum so or bury tower in the salary. Governor no or retire or if you could bet you and I mean you judge me bet you a coffee. Yes, you bet you at one. Now, but some say 120,000 allowances and count. Still want to manage Bank of Ghana. You know nothing at home. It's independent and absolute. That chess or report to at the moment I will report to Minister of Finance and tell say we independent to know our end point. Second, we autonomous there obi upon cash in Sameboa. Or report to Mobia na you be so the auto yen. I didn't know what they will annual report of Minister of Finance. No summertime parliament. Na say upe bibia bra parliament dem approve or send them in parliament. Into be I will host them let hono. Na ye ka say ye mfa ho a or how about the tominu so nti we communal labor e so bia de no hujim enyan DC asem enyan PP asem Ghana asem ene ye ka
honorable mamena se na ye mfansi ye be san so edi nkomo bi nti 21 days from enne
yes
more expected so de adwuma beto
yes so oyo bia o pasumdue no mpe kai bia dia nke beduru no ni ho na dia asumdua ba na tu akotwere bebe atwere
enye sare amone na ekọ ne pepepe
ende de besi kroma na ebenya si options no so doors na wo table no so nti ehwema na yi ba ko be fete situation no na deploy
Honorable Richard Achampoye, MP for Bia East constituency in the Western North region, a member of the Finance Committee in Ghana's Parliament and the Local Government Committee. Ekosiisen na Asempa FM. Nana to kudi no.
Free and democracy.
That's where we are for now. Na yebeshena yetimi atwa, so there are some songs I yebeshena yabo amamo ansana yede dwumadi ni nyina ba awiye ene enti moma nyina ye nhye so very very fantastic songs. And let me see if we can play this song. It's a special song, a really really good song. That's